Hello everyone, and welcome back, or welcome for the first time, to Worlds Upon the Wind. This is a rather excellent, so I think, game that I stumbled across the demo of just a tiny little bit ago. I was rather quite taken with it. It's some roguelike deck builder of a sort. I mean, I know that's a category that is not exactly the most uncommon sequence of words you'll ever hear, but I quite like the presentation of this one. I thought it was, it was engaging. I liked it. So that's going to be what we're streaming for the next little part. Now, I was going to just jump straight in, let the game do its own little job of explaining itself. But while I was setting the stream up, sitting on this little main menu, I made a very important discovery. If you click the cat, it makes little cat noises at you, which I think is quite excellent. And I'll jump in. Yeah, new save game slot. Yeah, I'm assuming I have not actually manually checked. This is the first time I put up the actual full game, but I'm pretty certain it's kept my old demo save. But we will just be starting from the start with the tutorial. That saves me the effort of having to try and explain everything.
We were the masters of our world. Trees bowed to our axes. Beasts and rivers alike ran where we willed. We carved up the earth and took our rightful inheritance. But divine favor would not last forever.
As you can possibly tell, part of what really caught me about this game is just the presentation.
Droughts scorched our fields, and winds wailed against our shelters. We fought back with cunning and miracles to quell the shaking land. And in our struggle, we shattered what we treasured most. All that remains is 10,000 shards, adrift upon the wind. Among us were some who listened to your words, O Enlightened One, and prepared for the end.
Because, yeah, a lot of this art, if I just click on the little thing down here, you kind of see, click to learn more, but a lot of the art, a lot of the imagery for this game is taken from actual, 1800s artworks have been edited a bit to kind of fit within the context of the game a bit more, but there's so much beautiful old art through
Inked
this.
our names upon a great scroll, shielding us from the shattering. With our faith rewarded, we set out to reunite the world.
Yeah, then we just zoom in, and we're still in the artwork here. O Enlightened One, your prophecy told us that after the shattering, we are to put the shards back together, one expedition at a time. Let's begin then, by rebuilding a Torii gate. Drag glyphs into essence slots, with a matching essence to activate the development. And see up here, we have the little build Torii gate prompt, and that takes 2 of these, 2 stability essence, and 1 craft essence, and a little hand of cards down here, practically. We have worth 1 craft, we can just drag into the appropriate slots. And craft into the craft slot. We're done with building. We'll need to redouble our efforts to open the gateway. Guide us with a sign, O Enlightened One. Yeah, and we can choose to redraw our hand of cards once. Redraw. This is kind of pulled out of our deck down there. Ready to resume the preparations now. Let us open the gate to a new shard. As you can see, we have cards with multiple different essences on them. But so this card can count as either a connection or a change essence. And here we need a connections essence and the radiance essence. Just pull mirror in there, sun in there, open the gate. Excellent. We'll need enough people to found a settlement when we get to the shard. Let's gather everyone at the gate. Yep. So here we need 2 life essence to gather the expedition. We're exhausted. You are always with us, Enlightened One. Grant us one last bit of will to embark. Let's invoke this glyph's blessing. Glyphs of invocations. Hover over it to learn more. Yep. This one has draw 2 written down on the bottom. The draw 2 invocation, which just lets us draw 2 more glyphs. And now you'll see, so here we need a spirit essence and a change essence. We didn't draw either of those. And you could even see down, like, you can see what essences are on cards still in the draw pile in these little numbers. You would notice there's a little 2 here that changed to a 1. We drew the 1 life essence, so we didn't have any change or spirit essence, but we did have this card, which is the fill 2 invocation. Fills 2 random essence slots in developments. There only are 2 slots available. We invoke that, and that works. Start expedition. Please look kindly on us as we step out, O Enlightened One. We only need a foothold in this strange new land, just so others can feel safe when they follow. You've already saved us from the shattering, but I trust that you'll guide us to restore the world. I know you have better things to do than watch our every footstep, but if you nudge us in the right direction, we'll handle the rest. Time to decide how to develop this land. Each site offers several developments, but only one can be active at each level. Activate some developments, then click Redraw Hand. So these are our 2 sites. We have a mountain site and a wasteland site. And then these are the actual developments. We slot cards into here to build these up. And yeah, just kind of build along. We have no real necessity of achieving any particular goal here. We're just kind of doing what we want. So what sort of essences do I have available? I wanted to make... Yeah, we have a lot of need for stability essence. I'm probably going to kind of call change fire sometimes and stability earth sometimes. Yeah, so let's just go a mountain slot into here. Make a rock garden. Quilt of pebbles in intricate patterns, bound by a vow of stillness. And now this has, as you can see, remove the other options available to us, but we do have the one that led into this ruined outpost, which needs a craft and a stability. Yep, so I could use this invocation to add another card with, like, some invocations and a change and a craft essence to the top of our deck, but I think I'll just use you as a craft essence here. Now I can't finish this because we need a stability essence. And so over here my options include a lot of stuff with stability, or yeah, I think I'll just use the wind glyph here, Smolden Crater on top of the mountain. Shard's molten core breaches the surface at the tip of the mountain, letting out a sigh of relief. Now, I do have a spot for a life essence here, so I might as well put that in. Because I know I have no craft essence, so I can't possibly complete this one. And even if I did, there's no penalty for partially completing different developments if you don't have anything else to spend glyphs on. Now, join here has the continue invocation. Fill a random essence slot in a development with any filled essences. Yep, so this will either get natural hot springs or ruined outposts done, or fill in one of these stability slots. There we go, natural hot springs. We need a cauldron or fire to take a hot bath in this spring. The mountain takes care of that. Yep. Now we did pull one of our new stability essences that can get the ruined outpost done. Half-collapsed ramparts bristle with new scaffolds, making for a charming mess of a shelter. And nothing else to do. End foray. Oriato. Moat remains. Now, I've next to no knowledge of Japanese, unfortunately, so you will have to forgive me if some of my pronunciations end up a little bit off. Yep. And at the end of each foray, we get to choose one glyph to add to our hand, and see a expression of what numbers of essences we already have in our deck. We have the option of let it go. A little symbol in the corner means that is a news discovery, new card. Change essence with the fill 1 invocation. Look at, which is Radiance and Life, and the Divine 6. Scry. Well, not quite Scry. I was thinking Magic Gathering terms there. But yeah, look at that many cards and then choose to put any amount of those into the discard if you want on the invocation. And 2, which fills 2, discards 2. Let's grab Look At here. Now, for the next foray, we need to fulfill the foray goal of 4 safety and 6 productivity. When selecting place to settle, pay attention to how much of a goal yield it can provide. So, now we're in charge of placing our next little settlement down somewhere. We need productivity and safety, and you can kind of see exactly what regions will be able to settle and what potential yields they'll output as I just move the mouse around here. Let's just go down here, mountains and plains. So this is your inspiration. Missing foray goals reduces it. If you run out, the expedition ends and you forfeit bonus rewards. The yields you gain during forays are added up here. These will unlock new options later in the expedition. So you will have noticed these little numbers kind of creeping up as I built things in the last settlement. And you can see here it's highlighted the ones we need for us. And this is kind of the direction you need to build the town in, because we're looking to meet these goals. So just this lava-fed forge would meet both of our aims here. We have a 56% chance of drawing a craft essence. We are going to be pretty... Yeah, if I want to get enough production, I am going to need to get the lava-fed forges up. So we're just going to have to hope that works, because the most production we could get out of the plains is 5. This is better for security. So let's grab the smoldering crater with that there. And we are going for the lava-fed forges, so we'll put the earth in there. I think actually we might want to hold on to that. Yeah, just in case, I'm going to use this stand essence here. Get the Pilgrim's Rest. Stone slab meets soft grass to offer wanderers a shaded break. As we'll be hoping to try and grab this post road. Yeah, I think we're going to use our join glyph, the connection here, our moving glyph there, get the post road built, a ribbon of hardened earth smoothed by feet unwilling to weave through the grass. And now this wind glyph has a invocation, discard 1, draw 1. Now these will happen in sequence, top to bottom. So we'll use this. They'll attempt to discard a card, but with no card to discard, that just fails. And instead, we grab an extra glyph, and just going for this extra card of our draw pile means we're slightly more likely to draw the craft we need now. And we could use this to gain more safety, but already good on that. Instead, use that there. And redraw. Yep, we got lucky. Good. So, yep. Use craft in there, get the forges. Metal melts like wax in the lava flowing down these slopes. And nothing else we can add into any of our regions up here. We can use the invocation on flower. Just gain 5 beauty yield. Hanashuku, Flower Lodge, after its Pilgrim's Rest. Yeah, we get one more glyph. So writing would add a letter card to the top of our deck. Sound connection, beauty and knowledge. Could grab a continue glyph. You can also always choose to remove a glyph too. I think if I just look through, yeah. We do just have a really basic 3 of each of these like base round essences. So the way this kind of works is the round essences are essentially the simpler ones and usually used for starting developments. And then the square ones, advanced essence, are used in higher level, more complex developments. So you want to typically want to be certain you have more round than square. I think we'll grab sound. That invocation could be useful. My heart is full, O Enlightened One. Thank you for seeing us through. We're exhausted now, so we're going to rest and get used to our new home. To think I was actually there, the very first time we stepped back out into the world. Tales of this journey will be told for generations. It won't be me on the next expedition, but I know you'll look after my sisters and brothers, just as you've looked after us. No doubt it's left in my heart that soon you will restore the world to its former glory. We don't actually really get to use the card and the choices we're making because a little bit of the tutorial so just finishes the game for us after building a couple of little settlements. Anytime between 4 you can finish the expedition. If you do this before running out of inspiration, you'll gain a bonus reward. Yep. Finished out into the world, a couple of little settlements. Let's finish. And we gain 10 bonus insight for returning before game overing. Gasasagi Iwa, the name of this shard. Yep, and kind of at the end, you can see we gained 50 insight, which is essentially all meta currency, which we'll be spending on upgrades, total yields, as well as any new discoveries we made, which is every single development we built. And this being our first expedition. I've served all my life as your scribe of names, O Enlightened One, but the people beg for a prophet. Inspire in me your will, and I shall carry your commands to the faithful. In the age before the shattering, your sacred word came to us through relics. If we are to hear your will once more, we must gather such relics. Only pray that we'll be worthy enough to reclaim them. Yeah. So, new objective. Find a relic by completing events. We'll see what that means once we start off. So here we have a little central hub. Not much going on here. Got little people, I can click on them, see what they have to say. Yeah, it's just a handful of monks at the moment, wandering around. Monks and nuns of the Shattered Order. Yeah, and then up here we have the Scribe. We hear the Enlightened One's voice again. Let's consecrate holy relics in the strange new world. And it's really the 3 things we have to resolve. We have the scroll, which we saw in the opening little cutscene. This is the scroll on which the original survivors had inscribed their names. As well as the option to meditate over here, which is how we spend our meta currency to unlock new stuff. Look at that in a second. And of course the ability to launch a new expedition from the Torii Gate. So we have 50 insight. Trying to remember what everything we have. Yeah, so maximum inspiration, more health essentially. Replan. Can't afford this yet. This will allow me to reshuffle the glyph deck and draw a new starting hand 1 time for expeditions if I don't like my starting situation. Glyph mastery. Yeah, increases the rewards which you get, so better glyphs more often. That's pretty good for 40. Starting glyphs. Just having more glyphs will be very important. That's too expensive for us. Yeah, so grants an insight for every 10 yield points of any type that do not directly progress towards 4A goals during 4As. Getting more insight early is excellent. Yeah, we will be grabbing insights from excess. So it'll get us some more meta currency over time, and will also mean that resources we get off goal are actually doing something. And events per 4A. yeah, more events are also good. See what events are when we start. So we'll grab that. That's our insight spent. Let's start. Okay, so start down here by the gate. Ooh, we have some different terrain now. We have forest and a little bit of ocean and a swamp in here. And we're looking to get adventure. And both forest and swamp are good adventure terrain. Yeah, let's just stick starting settlement just in there. Alright, I forgot that that was how the swamp worked. And the forest is only on this high level one, which we're unlikely to get. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, these, like the swamp is good for adventure, but also gives negative safety, which is a bit unfortunate. We'll kind of see the consequences of this once we build it, but having a negative value of any yield in total at the end of building a settlement means you take a hit to your inspiration. But we're going to be taking a hit to our inspiration anyway if we don't do this, so let's slot life in there to get the Murky Trail built. A path barely worn, worthy of the name, guaranteed to leave your sandals full of mud. Now, as you can see here, these two locations have this little golden glow around them. These are events. These are things we're trying to get. So like, we have the option of the Alchemist Retreat down here. Probably going to go for the Glowing Lantern Path, however, which does need Spirit. Yeah, because I would need to spend my Radiance to get the Apothecary Heart, and then only the second Radiance to get the Alchemist Retreat. So that's not happening. Over on this side, we cannot make up the penalty to safety we've generated. So instead, I think, yeah, even if I use the fill and potentially fill that in, yeah, that would consume the Radiance. That's not going to work. Let's just use a Life Essence there and the Foraging Glade. Thickets full of juicy berries and delicious mushrooms fill empty hands and hungry bellies. Yep, and nothing else I particularly want to do. I don't want to fill on, because if I use this invocation, it might complete that, which will then lock me out of the option I want. We just redraw. Okay, and we did not get the spirit we were looking for. That is unfortunate. We do have the option to draw. Yeah, you won't put anything useful on top of the deck. Not particularly interested in beauty. Let's just spend this to get the Wildlife Sanctuary. A place where the wild beasts outnumber the words scholars have for naming them. Yeah, so I don't particularly want to complete the Verdant Labyrinth. It wouldn't really matter too much in this expedition probably because it's not going to last long, but this little symbol here, and this is very common for these high level ones, means this is a one-time development on this expedition. If I build the Verdant Labyrinth now, I won't be able to try and build it any later. And honestly, this is competing for spirit, so I won't be able to do that anyway. Not without, yeah, using join to fill that, and we need join for the connection. Yeah, that's just out of reach. Then now, however, you know what? This actually works. We can use the invocation on that, yep, to get our safety back up, and that now means we're no longer negative. So we are successfully at the point we want to be, but I do kind of want that event. So we use that, draw and discard. Okay, another earth. Yeah, nothing else we can do here. So let's just end the foray. Merobuchi, wandering deep after its murky trail. Now, see, so shop, connection stability, or mourning probably. Green border means a rare card, and as you can see, this is broadly a better card than the central dog card. So this would make us lose harmony, gain productivity on invocation. This would restore some inspiration and also just draw a glyph. Meaning if we draw this and it's not useful, it's essentially... yeah, just a free card. Let's grab... Sure, let's just grab Morning. So we're going to need Safety and Beauty. Plain, seashore, forest and seashore. Yeah, let's just grab plains and forest over here. Yeah, so this hidden shrine in the forest would get us our beauty. The wildlife sanctuary would also do so. Pilgrim's Rest into a kite field will get everything we need over here. Yeah, the storyteller's camp. Oh. However, our events are on these two. I am, yeah, slightly short what I would really want for safety here. Yeah, I think for the immediate future, let's just grab this hidden shrine. Statue to a long-forgotten deity is hidden beneath a moss-clad torii gate, nestled amongst the greenery. Now, we did get quite a poor draw here. We just immediately going to discard one, draw one there. Okay, we got Morning. Still cannot use. We can use that to draw another card. Gets a Spirit. I'm not particularly interested in. Can use that to Divine. Try and get an appropriate card. Okay, so that's going to be Water. Life Essence. You know, not quite what we're looking for, but that could be a bit of a fail-safe. And I don't really want to use Fill again because there's options here I would not be happy with. We're just having to redraw. I hope we get a slightly better second hand. Okay, so... yeah, not really ideal, I'm afraid. Not really ideal. Yeah, we're not going to get any of the events. Instead, what we're going to do is Wildflower Meadow. A riot of blossoms insists on claiming every inch of glass, leaving insects no excuse to nap. Yep, into the herb garden, which gets us our security. A flower to help with headaches, a herb to ease the pain, and a dozen other plants grow behind the herbalist's shack. Then using the incorrect and there because they pronounce herb wrong. Use that to get a little bit more beauty. And foray. Meccano, Mintfield, Archer's Herb Garden. Your new card, I didn't see you in the demo. Random. Add 2 random glyphs to your hand based on the current rarity tier. Yeah, so I believe that's like the average rarity in your deck. Interesting. And that will stack us up a bit on Change Essence, but I mean, we'll grab that one. It's interesting in use. We need Beauty and Knowledge. Plains and Step. Small building. Large building is good for knowledge. Town Square too. Sure. Let's grab a settlement down here in the corner. Large building, Town Square. Yeah, so the public sworn to archives. If we can get this actually will be an event, finally. And then this place will need to be our beauty. Means we're looking at the Verse Arena for the full value. Yeah, so let's go Festival Grounds. A place to forget the toils of the year and lose oneself in the rush of the crowd. We want a public school for a large building. A new world requires a new mindset. The young and old alike gather here to share their knowledge. Now we really hope we pull Radiance. 78% chance. Probably going to draw another card too. Yes, we'll use the Fire Glyph here in the Verse Arena. I don't think I particularly want to add toil to the top of our deck, so we'll just discard that, draw another card. There we go. One of our Radiances gets us the archives. And this is an event. The Book of Beasts. The librarians are airing the entire archive, hanging books on strings to let the damp pages dry. One of the helpers, a bright child, laughs in delight as one of the books reveals page upon page of colourful illustrations depicting strange-looking beasts. One page shows a yellow squirrel with feathered wings, another a big blue horse with an improbably long snout. The boy, however, is most fascinated by a giant wide-eyed creature, pointed ears peeking through a row of reeds. Yeah, so each building, there's a chance for any given building, I'm pretty sure. There might be exceptions, but most buildings at least to have an event on them, and each building has its own event associated with it. Oh, he asked the librarian what sort of creature it is. And then you have 4 options here, which result in different outcomes. Some good, some bad. And then once you know what an outcome is, that is, permanently revealed on all future expeditions. If 60 beauty, tell him it's imaginary. 2 radiance, say it's an ancient beast. 2 spirit is an evil spirit. Or for no requirement, tell him to put the book away. I'm assuming this is probably going to be a bad outcome. I wouldn't mind revealing poor outcomes early on in the game when the stakes are low. Let's just tell him to put the book away. The librarian sternly instructs the boy to put the book back in its string, explaining that the paper is too damp to handle. The boy will not be back to the library for a long time. Yeah, and that's made us lose some knowledge. We're still well over our goal, though. Yeah, it's a poor outcome, and some of those will reward us with relics, which is what our current quest is. Yes, Pure of Artisans, Woodblock, Print Studio are both unique buildings. Large building is a pretty rare slot, so I don't know if we'll even get another chance to build one of these, but yeah, not going to get the opportunity to figure that out. So we want the Verse Arena. Here, words strike, parry, and dance, eager to earn the audience's tears. Yeah, and we're not going to be able to do the Dragonfly Theatre either for the next event. Instead, we'll just gain 5 security off that card and end the foray. Manabia, schoolhouse, after its public school. They really want us to have high value change glyphs, don't they? Discard 1. Okay, so this can also be stability or life if we're willing to discard a card. Because we can add plant directly to our hand. Well, let's just grab a connection glyph though. Let's grab sound. So we need food and beauty. Steppe and plains. Forest and seashore. Yeah, forest and seashore over here. Forest will be good for food. And seashore should be good for beauty. I mean, we can even go food into beauty over here on the seashore if I want. Seaweed farm and something else. I think I probably will. Yeah. Get a seaweed farm. A garden among the waves, delivering the perfect wrapping for rice balls. And we'll grab the foraging glade over here. Confident we'll be able to get beauty without having to use that invocation. Thickets of juicy berries. Yeah, read that one already. And don't have use for fire. Have use for earth here. Yes, put that in the coral garden. Just there. No immediate use for you, but I can use this to gain some knowledge and some of the beauty we need. Redraw. Okay, so, yep, we got crafts. We'll be doing the Pearl Sanctuary rather than the Coral Garden. We're lacking in spirit. But we can do the Wildlife Sanctuary too. Grab you. Grab the Pearl Sanctuary. I could have used Continue to get the Coral Garden. That probably would have been better. Oh well. When an oyster's time ends, it leaves a relic of its journey here. Just end the foray there. Amagishi, Diver Shore, After's Pearl Sanctuary. Yeah, Mother will be pretty good here. That gets us our 2 base essences, which we're missing. Yeah, 4A5. So you want Beauty and Harmony. Forest. You can kind of tell here the fact that one forest is high and one forest is low. That means it's all the yield here is tied up in the unique late buildings rather than early ones. Plains and Rocky Cliff will do pretty good here. Yeah, let's build you like that. Yeah, so the cliff can get us Bird Nest Cliff into Waterfall Vale. You can get us Wildfire Meadow into Sacred Grove. Yeah, we are a bit short on the life essence at the moment. Yeah, let's go Bird Nest and Cliff. The eggs cradled in these downy nests are safe from the foxes and snakes below. Waterfall Vale, use that fire. A tiny spring on top of the cliff descends down the slopes in a splash of shiny mist. And now, if I manage to get the Singing Cascade, like if I just use this rather than conjuring random, that will get all of our needs met, and then we can think about going for one of these events. Which we can actually do immediately into the Storyteller's Camp. Yeah, I like that. Just use you there. A torrent of glimmering water drums an ever-changing beat as it tumbles over the cliff's countless ledges. Pilgrim's Rest. Into Storyteller's Camp. Tale of Moistened Sleeves. Every morning at the Storyteller's Camp, the same young man takes to the stage. The scion of a long, noble family from the old world, performs traditional koto pieces that sound suspiciously similar, recites breathless poetry about women whose names change nightly, and weeps loudly into the sleeves of his over-perfumed robes. At first, the settlers were sympathetic. Then, the headache started. Radiance convinced him these poems must be recorded. Grin and bear it. Again, this is a no requirement outcome. Probably a bad one. 4 change glyphs convince him that perfumed robes out of fashion. Let's go this one. A few settlers suggest that the floral cloud around him is actually very last era. This strikes him like a lightning bolt of revelation. The next time he arrives in stark, undyed cloth, proclaiming a new era of pure scentlessness and emotionally astringent aestheticism, he still cries into his sleeves, but now they're hempen. And this is a relic. This was what our objective was, and these kind of just add permanent little modifiers to the run. So the Moistened Sleeve, whenever I lose inspiration, I gain twice that amount in beauty. The tears make the perfume even stronger. Okay, and because we completed our objective, we now get a legacy event, Talisman. An old monk sits on a straw mat by the shard's edge, watching the cloud sea stretch to the horizon. He's prayed for guidance every morning since he came to the shard. Today, he thinks he hears an answer. The Enlightened One wants the people to carry a small reminder of their purpose. And this will leave a mark on history. So that's kind of a little permanent change to our particular playthrough here. So choose a herbal scent bag, choose a seed pouch, choose a charcoal bead, choose a copper ring. So when I was playing the demo, I did choose a seed pouch. What this did, I believe, was whenever we slotted a life essence, I think it was a relic that was added to our save, and what the relic did was whenever we slotted life essence, we regained some inspiration, I think. Let's pick one of the other ones. Herbal scent bag, charcoal bead, copper ring. Let's choose the copper ring. The monk commissioned simple rings hammered from scrap, rough and unadorned. Let these bands remind you that your line never ends, he hears in his mind. Though your world may have come apart, you will persevere to bring it back together. In days to come, elders and children alike will wear them. Some will even wear one on each hand. A few settlers will attach gems they carried from the old world to theirs, but the practice won't last. Okay, I misremembered. It was a natural development on the seed bags, like stuff in the forest and like that was restore some inspiration. These are spiritual developments. But the Enlightened One said, let these bands remind you that your line never ends. Though the world may have come apart, you'll persevere to put it back together. Yeah, and that's just been added to the pool of relics we can get. I heard you were looking for explorers to help on the expeditions. Well, here I am at your service. Have my gratitude for answering the Enlightened One's call. The journey of the faithful shall be arduous. We need skilled scouts to explore these new lands. You're in luck. That's exactly my specialty. What you call luck is but a sign of the divine will. Now, go with the Enlightened One's blessing. Yep. So, new quest, serving the shards. Finish a survey. And that will happen on our next expedition. Just redraw here. Okay, and I'm not going to be able to get the kite field too. Oh, actually, I might be able to. Yeah, we can fill here. I wouldn't mind getting the kite field in. Let's slot you in there. Use the invocation on Bright. That was the only slot available, so the fill had to go there. Paper sails stretch across bamboo spines to catch the breeze, tracing the festive winds across the open sky. Sabino, kite flying field. Or flying field, after its kite field. Grab boat. Sure, let's just keep filling up the deck with more cards. And now we need 30 safety and 10 harmony. Now, I am thinking we'll probably manually finish up the expedition after this one. Maybe even... No, we can find... Yeah, planes are very good for easy security, so we can just do a double plane settlement here. Yeah, because this Pilgrim's Rest building. Won't get an event for this, but that's okay. I might want to try out this random thing just to see how this ends up working. It does effectively turn one glyph into 2 glyphs in return for spending some knowledge. Yep. Stick you there. Let's just use this. Okay, and obviously our rarity is high enough, it's now calling uncommon ones, which makes that very good for us. So you will conjure... Yeah, Parent conjures Child, which is Change Life. You can spread a random connection one, so you'll get me another Parent if I use you. Firebreak Reservoir will get me all of my security here. So I could just focus on a different form here. Yeah, we put craft there. Then we spread with boat, which has me second parent. We'll use water here, the wildflower meadow. We want the sacred grove, which we can use like one of these in either of those slots. Seeds saved from the old world are planted here to grow into great trees, superior to local flora, or so the priests claim. And now we are looking for a stability essence with quite a few of those in the deck, 8% chance to draw one on the next hand. I can also use pictures to draw just another card, which gets me wind, which I can use to draw another card, which gets me spirit, which I can use, to guarantee the next card on top of the deck is an earth card, so we'll keep that. Got that on 2, so Firebreak Reservoir. Just a pit full of water, in case of fire. Works better than prayers. And gain 5 more off Earth. to Suyuhara Dewfield after its plains. And it does not really matter which one we get. Ah, okay, so we are actually on the survey, so I could meet this quest immediately. Right? Yeah, normally surveys happen like after the first couple of settlements, so I thought we were too late for this one. But because we have... Yeah, because presumably the quest and we just unlock surveys partway through this run, here, get the opportunity to do it a bit differently. Let's just stick... Yeah, we'll start the survey from here, and I'll just show this off before finishing. Survey departure point, 24 possible encounters. The path ahead. The team has gotten into an argument trying to decide where to go next. 3 of the scouts disagree, each pointing to a different direction and completely refusing to budge. So a survey is a lot like founding a town, as we get the 2 hands, and we need to kind of play through cards, but instead we get a series of events where they need to spend cards, and some of them have requirements like we can only pick this one if we have at least 30 harmony, this one if we have at least 20 food. And kind of these will have outcomes similar to the event system we've seen, usually a bit less impactful though. And we always have the option to go for universal ones usually, which is just slot any essence to keep pushing forwards. So build the camaraderie will just get us past the event with no other outcome. Resolve it over a meal, at least 20 food. This will have some further effect. Let's see what that is. The team decides that arguments are best resolved over a meal and a drink, with their bellies full. 3 scouts are a lot less prone to argument. Oh, and that healed us 2 inspiration. We're already on max, so it doesn't really matter. But like with the events, they'll now be permanently revealed on later runs. As the survey team is walking through an ancient, overgrown road, they spot a figure on the horizon. The figure turns out to be a man wearing a basket as a hat. He introduces himself as a monk of emptiness, an order none of the scouts had heard of. A few scouts whisper that it must be a trickster spirit taking human form. Ignore, present an offering, invite along, ask about his order. Okay, let's use the spirit essence. We have some excess of that. Present an offering. The scouts offer the man a share of their supplies, in case it's a spirit testing their generosity, but the man refuses. Instead, he asks the explorers to take his flute. He claims to have grown beyond needing it as a meditation aid, able now to block out the whole world by mere thought. Oh, and that actually added a new glyph to our deck, the flute glyph. Yeah, craft spirit and can conjure and play music, which is spirit connection. The survey team follows an old path into a bamboo grove, only for it to become fainter and fainter, until they find themselves lost among the stalks. And I might as well show this off. Whenever there's a little image down in the corner, you can actually click on it to see the original artwork, which they've like taken and edited a bit, with information on it. So this one, Fuji from a Bamboo Grove, by Katsuhiko Hokusai, hopefully, 1835. Picks a view of Mount Fuji from a bamboo grove. The steepness of the mountain is exaggerated. Bamboo stems are curved into shapes not normally seen in nature. Yeah, and it was edited. This one was just edited by cropping. This is a later coloured version of the monochromatic original. We can cut a straight path. Requires adventure and will have an outcome. The other 2 don't have outcomes associated with them. Let's see what cutting through the bamboo does for us. The team decides to use brute force. They spend the day cutting a path through the bamboo, leaving ready building material for the rest of the expedition. Okay, so that's a good outcome, 20 productivity. The team stumbles upon a grove of trees, drooping under the weight of plump fruit. They look about like old-world Persimmons even. Persimmons? Transliterated some of those letters, eh? But they've grown wild since the shattering. The scouts are quite hungry, but they find it suspicious that no birds or insects seem to be touching the fruit. Cook the fruit, try the fruit raw. Find something the wildlife does not eat, leave the fruit alone as safe. Let's be adventuresome. Try the fruit raw. One of the scouts takes a tiny bite of the fruit, and the team waits to see the effects. Not half an hour later, the scout is bent over with a stomach ache. It's bad enough that the team has to stop and rest for the night to wait it out. Oh, that's interesting. This is 2 outcomes. I'm assuming it's just a coin flip. Yeah, it's either dangerous and you lose safety, or it's actually edible and you'll gain food. Bit of a risk. Yep, and we finished the survey. Still need to redraw the hand and then end. And the survey done, that just explores out the area around the server, which lets you found settlements further away in that direction. So if I wanted to build up on the canyon now, which is otherwise outside of our settlement range, I'll be able to do so. Now, I do think I will... Yeah, we're now up to 407. That is definitely not how these things traditionally work. But I think we're just going to finish the expedition, yeah, to get back to the settlement. We have no outstanding quests at this point. Gain 13 bonus insight for returning before exhausting our expedition. We'll just leave this town like this. Yep. Iriaijima. Iriaijima, maybe? A tight-knit community. And that little epithet there is why I wanted to end this early. Yep. See, we've gotten a couple new relics, found a bunch of new glyphs, new developments, new events, and some new encounters on the expedition too. The expedition was a success. The shards are full of new adventures, new places to explore. You have done the Enlightened One a great service. The maps you bring shall serve us well in days to come. O Enlightened One, the shards are ready to receive us. On the next expedition, we'll raise a capital. Okay, we hadn't actually unlocked this ability. That was a part why I wanted to end early before we got to this point. Explain in a minute. With that, the scattered can begin healing in earnest. Yeah, new quest. Establish first shard capital after 6 forays. Yeah, normally, the 7th foray is a different type. Establishing the capital, the convergence is that type. And the reason I want to finish early, yeah, this shows a list of potential shard cultures. Some are part of the main story, but most can arise on any shard under certain conditions. Over time, each shard culture will develop its own history. These are the conditions which a selected shard culture will arise. They're fulfilled during the expedition, the shard will develop this culture. If it is eligible for multiple, only one will be chosen, and you can pin these requirements to the crest to aim for one. So, our last settlement had the epithet a tight-knit community, and this explicitly needs at least 4 settlements and no capital. I guess because you don't actually unlock capitals until this point, this one is just guaranteed on your first actual settlement, which I was not certain of. But the reason I wanted to guarantee it is you get a bonus to the rarity of your draws for new glyphs, just based on the amount of these you have unlocked. So the other one's Inkless Lands. So we just need 100 beauty and the poem glyph in our deck. Land of the Flow, half settlements into river development. Managed estate, we need to get a particular relic from a particular large building event. And the higher these go, the more complex they get. Theoretically, this one is labeled as rare, but 300 harmony, 200 safety, that is a lot easier than some of the more specific ones will unlock. For the moment, we're just going to aim for completing the main story quest though, rather than aiming for further shard cultures. And as you can see, we have some people other than monks now showing up. Yep. Various refugees from the old shattered world. And over here, hero, the silversmith, is visiting from one of our pre-established shards. Not just refugees anymore. And we can meditate. We have 70 insight. Okay, we've unlocked a few new things. What do we have? Events preview. Allows you to preview events before starting a foray. theoretically you could probably optimize quite a lot by like pre-playing out events and stuff. It wasn't a skill I ever got the hang of in the demo, but yeah. Random starting relic means you start with a random relic. That's nice. Longer surveys increases maximum number of encounters per survey by 2. Yeah, so more chance for rewards. Like you will have noticed that we spent far fewer cards than we had available to actually finish the survey. Surveys will start getting a lot more complicated as the game ramps up though. Land starting glyphs, glyph mastery. Let's grab this glyph mastery. Yeah, increases quality of our rewards a bit. That'll be nice, and then we'll save up. Okay. Yep. So we're down here, big swamp and forest over there. Field in the center, more swamp forest there, little river. Cool. And we're looking for knowledge. Scrubland is good for knowledge. Large building is also good for knowledge. Plains and scrubland just here. Yep, just get a little town right on the edge next to the Tory Gate. Good, so Mulberry Patch, which is what leads into the Norwich stuff in the Scrubland, has an event on it. So I think I'll just immediately grab you. Multi-purpose mulberries. The mulberry harvest is shared between the humans, who collect the berries, and the silkworms, who feast on the leaves. The silkworm carvers want to pluck most of the leaves of their worms. Leaving the bushes bare risks stunting their growth and leading to a poor berry harvest. The mulberries want the only sweet treats that the scrubland offers, and settlers are eagerly awaiting their arrival. Okay, so we can just favour the worms or the berries. Leave the bushes with the best berries unplucked. Wait until the berry harvest before plucking the leaves. None of these are particularly difficult requirements to meet. Let's go with the radiance one. Leave the bushes with the best berries unplucked. The farmers carefully inspect each bush and mark ones that seem likely to produce the most berries. The harvest will be meagre. There's an efficient use of resources. The unmarked bushes are sacrificed to the worms. Yeah, I'm assuming the other two options would let us, essentially trade productivity for food or trade food for productivity, whereas this gets us a little bit of both. Yep, so use life here to get the paper mulberry grove. Once the pulp is pounded and strained, we'll be ready to record the lives led in this dry land. Yeah, paper studio would be good, but that's going to be expensive, so we're also aiming for the post road over here, which unfortunately is going to be real difficult. Because, yeah, we currently have the connection here. I am going to risk the discard, please not. Yeah, it got rid of the appropriate one there. Yeah, so we'll use... The other option, of course, is to continue on to the paper studio. If I place one of these in, then with one array filled, then continue will fill in slots in any development that already has at least one slot filled. Oh, yeah, we're going for that. Mountain in there. Then continue with that. Okay, Radiance. 71% chance to draw the craft glyph. Success. Paper Studio. These trees are special. The bark they shed will last generations. And we could even get another event off this wildflower meadow. So let's do that. A herd of wild horses has descended upon the meadow. Perhaps their ancestors were once beasts of burden, but little of that docility remains. They're currently treating the magnificent blooms with the same respect as one accords common weeds. They're ruining the view, a settler grumbles, watching a particularly chubby pony chew on a bellflower. Besides, we put these beasts to good use. Drive them off or let them graze. Let's let them graze. This is probably going to be a bad outcome. We'll see what it does. Settlers leave the horses alone and watch the destruction. Soon, only stems remain of the wildflowers. The meadow turns into a muddy, trampled mess. Horses are clearly content with their full bellies and leave behind fertilizer. So, minus 10 beauty, we add the manure card. which is a bloody good card to our hand. So this is life and stability essence, and it also blesses food yields as the invocation. A blessed yield, every gain of that yield is doubled for the rest of the stage. Doesn't stack, but blessings are very powerful. Yeah, manure's a good card. Okay. Nothing else for me to do here, so I guess I'll bless food and gain a bit of security. Kookaburra, Mulberry Field. Okay, our year is quite nice. So we can split this as its invocation, essentially turning it into a single change in stability essence, meaning we get to use both halves. Yeah, I like that. Now we need security and manufacturing. We have a lot of buildings up here. We go for like large building, small building up here. As you can see, it very much preferences the buildings if they're in the zone. Actually, those ones just are. Let's do that. Okay, so assembly hall. Or the warehouse here. Here we have the guardhouse. Yeah, I can't go for the tea house. What options do we have? Into craft, if I want to get productivity here, starting with fire to get productivity here. Yeah, I think we are going for the assembly hall, the event there, which means we are looking for the granary here to go into the workshop. Grains of gold and silver lie safe in this fortress, waiting to be turned into a steaming meal. Common dining hall. Nothing eases the labor of building a new home like a warm, shared meal. We'll just use you for your connection glyph. Get the assembly hall, the census. The first official act of the new assembly hall is to conduct a census of the population. It is time to record who settled down, who moved on with the expedition, and how the land will be tended. One settler brings a preserved scroll to show they've stewarded land before. Another proposes communal use, with simple census tags to track and balance. A third calls for precise allotments, granting full ownership. 4 stability glyphs, and respect the old claim. Let's see. The scroll is added to the public record as precedent, and a copy is sent on with the expedition for redundancy. The claimant is assigned to manage land allocation at will, and trusted to dole out lots fairly and impartially. Most of the gathered express doubts. Okay, an inheritance scroll. Names, maps, and memories, added by every hand that held it, so whenever we get a relic choice, we'll get 1 extra option. I think that might be associated with a shard culture too. Getting the inheritance scroll, that might be the only requirement? Can't remember, we shall see. Now, we can happily use the fill function, since the only place that could go is workshop. Redraw hand. Cool. And we get the weaving house too. Stick you there. Stick you there. From coarse hemp to ornate silk, each spool carries the efforts of the town's weavers. And a little bit of security. Itumakia, spool field, after its weaving house. None of these are that great. Product can be used to just gain a lot of productivity if we need it. It is only a 1 essence thing. We'll add it to the hand. What does down do? Down can also change to stability. Honestly, not bad, but grab product for now. Now we need knowledge and beauty. The plains and town square over here. Sure. Okay, it's festival grounds and philosophy corner will get us the knowledge we need. Storytell camp will also get the knowledge we need. and an event. Events are both on the plains. Can't get both. Bells, you almost certainly want festival grounds? Ooh. Yeah, and this is the sort of situation where the ability to redraw your starting hand would be useful. So we have no stability essence, and both the directions we want to go here would require stability essence. I do want to make some progress, so I guess we're going Wildflower Field and getting Beauty from here, and then we need to try and get Philosophy Corner there. Yeah, so Wildflower Meadow. Sacred Grove. We're not going to need connection over here. Yeah, and rather than get the 5, I would like to risk to get full amount. You'll add Change and Craft to the top of the deck. Not really necessary. Yeah, there's just very little we can do here. I don't particularly want to use either of these effects, so we'll just redraw our hand. Okay. That is nice. At least we did not... Oh no, we did. We got the Philosophy Corner. We're right. Festival Grounds. Yep. Philosophy Corner. Those who linger too long may leave with more questions than they arrived with. Yep. And I guess we'll just gain that bit of security. Discard you to draw. Yes, and we've got the connection. There we go. Sacred Grove. The grandfather of the grove, a massive tree that has sheltered countless picnics, has begun to lean. On closer inspection, the caretaker finds the trunk has rotted, and much of it is hollow. Now stands as an empty shell, waiting for the first strong gale to snap it like a dried reed. Opinions how to deal with it are divided. A builder wants to fill it, a gardener wants to prop it, and nervous visitors just want it gone before it hurts and falls someone. Let's cut it down and replace it with a sapling. The cycle must turn. The old giant is filled with reverence. Damn it, yep, that hit our beauty. So we are going to lose some inspiration now at the end of this, as fall shaking the whole grove. At the centre of the fresh stump, a young sapling is planted, bathed in sunlight that hasn't touched this patch of earth for centuries. The wood of the elder is cut into small blocks and given to the settlers. A memento of the elder, the caretaker says, while we wait for the new one to grow. Got us the ancient bark relic. Okay. Whenever you slot a gift with life essence, gain 10 safety. That is a good relic. Fortunately, we had to spend beauty to get it. Yeah, because we're at the end of the foray, I can't get to drawing more cards, we're definitely not getting Endless Blossoms. We are 3 under, so we will lose 3 inspiration. Dungeedan, Discourse steps, after its Philosophy Corner. You know what, I hate all of these. Let's focus on removing a card. We have the most stability out of anything at the moment. We'll get one of our basic stability essences removed. We'll take the Mountain Glyph out of our deck. Okay, yep. And this is the usual time for the survey, after 3 settlements. Let's survey out in this direction. Scouts been rationing water for days. Finally reach a stream so clear that every stone beneath the water is visible. 3 thirsty travellers rush ahead of the group, and, dipping their vessels into the flowing water, take a drink. They immediately spit it out. The water is unbearably bitter. Some suspect that the stream has been cursed by spirits. Others that it may be contaminated upstream. Boiled water, drink it despite the taste. We have a lot of stability essence. Let's spend 1 to see how much of a mistake this is. Yep, that's a mistake. Scouts decide they're too thirsty to wait. Fill their vessels with clear water and drink deeply. Several hours later, everyone is violently sick. The Vomit Glyph. Excellent. Yeah, so a purple-edged negative glyph will play itself, I do believe, and this curses food. On this invocation, opposite of a bless, halves all food gains for the rest of the stage. We're going to need to discard that out of our deck as soon as we can. The team finds themselves standing in a clearing dominated by the biggest tree they'd ever seen. One of the scouts, a priest, insists that it must be inhabited by a powerful spirit. Another, a scholar's apprentice, wants to measure it and study the factors that let it grow so large. An adventurous fellow suggests climbing it. The rest of the group just wants to stay a while and marvel at the size. Well, we can't study or pay respects for Current Hand. So set up camp under the tree. We'll need to... we'll split that so we have advantage of both halves, and you stand there. Scouts set up camp under the giant tree. One composes a poem proclaiming the tree a witness to the shattering. Someone paints a sketch. The group is inspired by the wonder they encountered. And that's our lost inspiration restored. The survey team comes upon an odd boulder in the middle of a path. It is unusually round and smooth, a little dome rising from the ground. On closer inspections, it appears to have faint carvings on the surface. Oh, yeah, so we can see here, this is a more expensive one. Not really be available to us. We can just ignore it safely for no effect. Let's mark it with a signpost. Scouts leave a little signpost, warning the rest of the expedition the stone is special and deserves further study. Considering their job accomplished, they move on. Yep. A little bit of resource. After a tiring all-day hike, the survey team stumbles upon an old, tree-shattering temple, abandoned, but in surprisingly good repair. Scouts are happy to find shelter for the night, especially knowing that boars and bears frequent the area. Although some among the group feel hesitant though, claiming that they hear strange creaking noises, feel an eerie presence in the air inside. Okay, we don't have a high enough adventure to camp despite misgivings. We have 2 double options here. Let's get... and this is our last event. Survey. Oh yeah, that's right. We gain safety for life essence. That's nice. Put you there. Put you there. Then I'm going to redraw hand. Yep, that plays itself, so food is halved, but we're not trying to get a food yield, not during a scouting mission, so that's fine. Cleansing ritual, look for anything unusual. I mean, this is a more specific one, and we've got it available, so perform a cleansing ritual. One of the scouts, the most familiar with sacred rites, performs a simple cleansing ritual to pacify any restless spirits, chanting and spraying water on the ground. The night passes without incident, and in the morning, as they are leaving, they spot an auspicious omen, a bear cub walking towards the temple grounds. Re-inspiration restored. Now, a little spoiler for that event. I did get that one in the demo, and I mentioned the bear cub and approaching that, and fairly some of the strange noises they hear if you go the other routes are in fact a bear cub wandering around in the next room over from them. So we need 20 security. Planes at the good yield of that. I don't think there's anywhere else I'd really want to go for that. So sure, plains and forest up here. Pilgrim's Rest into the Firebreak Reservoir. Just spend you immediately. The rest stop is quiet, save for birdsong and breeze. And someone was here recently and forgot something. A pouch lies on the bench, a modest thing with no markings. It doesn't seem to contain much. Perhaps its absence won't even be noticed. Because we have low harmony, we can just keep the pouch. Because we have enough harmony, we can search for the owner, build a little lost and found box, or leave it be for nothing. Keeping the pouch seems like the bad outcome. Let's see what that does. Oh, okay, I think that might have just game overed us for this expedition. Yep, no proof it belonged to anyone, one set of reasons, slipping into their pack, no reason for letting it go to waste. So this relic reduces our hand size. On start and redraw, we add 2 random glyphs of average rarity, of your glyph deck to your hand. Okay. So we get less cards out of our deck, but more random cards overall. Somehow it always contains 2 things you didn't pack. Yeah, that is a real rough outcome for us, though. When we slot Life Essence, we do gain security, though, off the Ancient Bark. We're currently losing 50 inspiration. We only have 25, though. That'll be another 10. Yeah, this is going to be a struggle. We draw. Manure, yeah, will be useful. We need the essences on that, so we'll keep that. Yep, and here are the cards getting added by our Traveler's Pouch. We've got Tree, which adds 2 copies of Seed to the top of the draw stack. So, Woman, which automatically fills 1 Harmony thing. Let's just see, I can use a flower, get here, Wildlife Sanctuary. Yeah, that's another 10 from the Relic. You do need to be craft. We don't have craft. We can continue, though. Manure. Yeah. If I want to try and get Eternal Glade, Firebreak Reservoir is more important here. Grab you. Ah, okay. A glyph with life essence, not slot a life essence, it's slot a glyph. So even Manure got me more security there. That is good. That is indeed good. Yeah, so we use this. Get Firebreak Reservoir. Okay, we've managed to restore most. We're not dying now, at least. And if I get, yeah, Seed on top of the deck, like that, and I can use you to fill. Okay, that gets 1. Now we draw. Yep, and this is something we can slot into here, which also has a life essence. Meaning that gets another 10 off the relic. We actually made it, despite the huge debuff from getting the Traveler's Pouch. There's Shikakage Mori, Deer Shadow Forest, Afterus Wildlife Sanctuary. There's Toil or Fast. So Fast, both these have a downside on their invocation. This just spends some inspiration to fill 2 slots that produce productivity. This adds Clumsy to our hand. Yeah, so just spend 5 productivity. But Satisfy means it adds 6 yield points to a random unsatisfied goal. We'll add Fast to our deck. Oh, I meant to get rid of Vomit. I need to remember to do that after this next one. Luckily, we still don't need food. So, Beauty and Productivity. Mountain and Forest, sure. Woodcutter's Camp. Give high productivity but costs Beauty. Smoldering Crater into Lovehead Forges will get both. Is nice. Yeah, look at that reaction. One night, the mountain splits open with a roar. Ash falls like grey snow and stones tumble down the slopes, glowing in the dark. Villagers flee across the last undamaged bridge leading away from the eruption. Some are still waiting to cross. A burning boulder crashes into the bridge, collapsing it, leaving families stranded on the far side. Under the burning sky, volunteers spring up from among the villagers. A group of strong youngsters claim to be best able to help, and a group of seniors saying they've already had long lives and should be the ones to take the risk. What's about this image? Eruption of Mount Bandai, Minoe Tankei, 1888. Picks the 1888 eruption of Mount Bandai in Fukushima Prefecture. Yeah, and the triptych. So, we cannot search for alternatives, we've done the adventure. Draw lots, and one or the other. Let's just go draw lots. Council member in the crowd decides there's no time to debate. and thrusts a basket of bamboo slips at the volunteers, telling them to draw lots. Those who choose slips smeared with soot place wet cloths over their mouths and head into the ashy darkness. They fell tall trees to create a makeshift bridge and rush across to search for survivors. Although most of the stranded villagers are saved, the rescue group, having never worked together before, soon scatters, and several of them end up trapped in the ruins. Okay, another curse cards. Pass away. Yeah, it makes us lose inspiration. Unfortunate, 2 curses in the deck now. We've got the King card. Yeah, so we can lose 4 progress in order to regain inspiration off that. Not exactly what I'm looking to do. Not exactly. But we do want to go Lava Fed Forges here. We're really hoping Craft Essence, only 50% chance of that. So yeah, let's use Continue here. Get that done. Cool. And now we just need a little bit of beauty out of this. We want to go Foraging Glade and hope and grab the Wildlife Sanctuary. That, or Scry. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep both of those. Redraw hand. Yeah, 5 inspiration lost. There we go. You go there. Could I complete any of these? No connection. I can split this, which I will. There's no real reason not to do that. It's both those handled. That could... We can actually get the Verdant Labyrinth done. I haven't built one of these one-offs yet. This is very much probably too premature for it, but let's do it. Yeah, you. Or let's attempt to do it. So this will target one spot that produces beauty, so we should fill any of these 4. 25% chance this works. Nah, wrong one. Gain 5 beauty and discard. Oh, that was recycle, not draw. Yeah, I missed which card that was. This is why I do not particularly like the Traveler's Pouch. Adding random cards in messes stuff up. Okay, we're not getting it. So just like that. Taradai, Forge Terrace, after its lava-fed forges. And we definitely need to remove Glyph. Honestly, I think Vomit is probably worse than Pass Away, because this could cost us a lot more than 5 if we get on the wrong time. Get rid of that, keep Pass Away for the moment. 35 safety. Double planes, small building and planes. Let's just go double planes. Yeah, Firebreak Reservoirs will save us. Hopefully. Recycle 100, dissatisfy 100. Draw up to 100 random glyphs from your discards, if available, and lose 100 points from a random foray goal. I'm pretty sure it does go down to the minimum, so if you're on 0, this won't drop you to negative 100, but... yeah, that's a weird card. I do need to remember I also get safety for slotting stuff with Life Essence. So that could be a 15 if I go here. You know what? I think I might, just because we are very short on stability draws, immediate ones, so... oh, yep, got Pass Away. Oh well. We draw a hand, another 5 inspiration lost. Okay. Pull 1 random glyph from discards. Can't use you. There's a small chance it draws Pass Away. That would be less than ideal if it did that. So instead we're just going to go Craft there, Earth there. I'll just leave that one. We won't try and redraw the stability. Soka, Grass fragrance, after wildflower meadow. And remove glyph. Let's get rid of that other curse. Here we are, the convergence. Yep. 6 forays done. Now we need to found our shard capital. So, as I said, played the demo before, so a little bit of insight here. You will have noticed as we build up the list of settlements over here, they each have one of the yields highlighted in red. So this indicates what they are short of. 4 of our settlements are short of adventure. 1 is short of productivity, 1 is short on knowledge. Okay, no, that's... Never mind what I'm saying. That will become relevant later. Later on, you get the ability to make up for some of those shortages depending on where you place the capital, but that is a meta progress thing. At the moment, this does not really matter. Can't squeeze the capital in there. Let's just place the capital over here. And now, during the convergence, we need to try and fill these shortages. And we do that by filling in the essence slots under these. So adventure requires change essence, productivity requires craft essence, and knowledge requires radiance essence. Yeah, later on we'll get a lot more options for stuff to do here. For the moment we are very short, however. So radiance essence is rare, we'll get you done. Might as well split you. I don't have any use for the stability though, so... Oh, you in there. Use you to fill something. Okay, one of those. And I guess I'll gain a little bit of resources out of these. And each of these unfilled is going to cost us 5 inspiration. We're certainly going to game over after this one. We're not going to get this done. Yeah, especially not on these draws. I mean, I had a lot of change essence in my deck. Where is it? Continue 1 to get 1 done at least. Yay! 1 is no longer short. You go there. Grab a little bit of knowledge and end convergence and game over. Yeah. As we lose a whole lot of inspiration. Yes, the manager state, I was right. The census thing we got was, in fact, a shard culture. And that was the only requirement for it. Britsu no Kuni. Whole lot of stuff unlocked. Back to the Haven. And find alternative ways to complete the convergence in your shard capital skill tree. Those will be important. Yeah, the manager state. Yep. We just needed to get the inheritance scroll relic during the census. Well, that's nice. That is a second culture. Yeah, and we failed to finish the convergence because we game overed, so... We still made progress, though, because of that culture. Yeah, so capital skill tree. Here we also have sites per phase. So after the convergence, this is important for our scaling. Not the most necessary now. Second rank of more inspiration. Yeah, allows you to connect settlements to the shard capital. Settlements connected to the shard capital share their yields, allowing them to make up for each other's shortages. That will be important. Let's grab that. Now we also have, capital initial provision. This is what I was thinking of. Makes the capital immediately yield 1 type, depending on where it's placed. Allows you to craft connection glyphs by combining basic essence during convergence, and you can use the connection to connect settlements. Yeah, let's just go with the capital initial provision, because I was completely misremembering. That seems so basic, I was assuming we'd have that. So we'll leave that like that. Then return. And back out on expedition once again. Oh, fun location. New biomes we haven't gone to see yet. Yeah, canyons, wastelands. Honestly, it seems a bit of a waste to make such good yields on this little 10 staff settlement. know what? It's such a waste. I'm not even going to do that. Let's head over here to... yeah, mountain wasteland out here. Leave the canyons alone for the second. Yeah. Wasteland, ruined outpost. And Sky Ropeways off riding past. Both have events, both are good. Both have awful requirements for us. So where is our stability? Guys, you can do better than this deck. You can. How do I want to fill this in? If I go you into you, I can at least make use of this continue. Yeah, so just going the Smouldering Crater route again over here. Smouldering Crater. I guess this is higher overall yields. I mean, not really. Potential to get the onsen. I do doubt we're managing that, but we'll attempt to. We go you into the Natural Hot Spring. Now we can continue that Stability Essence. And stick you there. And you know what? I will use this fill. We'll see where that puts us. Oh, and even went into the onsen. That is exactly the spot I wanted it to be used. Well done, game. Yep, that gets us the onsen retreat. And a few trees and a little shack to turn the humble spring into a resort. And we can not quite... yeah, because we used our craft essence, we can't get the ruined outpost. Still the highest overall yield going this way though, so Rock Garden it is. In safety, discard, draw. Yep, and we get to gain some beauty too. Yuya, Hot Spring Valley, after its natural hot springs. Yep, so this place is now producing, not just short, it is producing harmony, and it is short on food. Pray, Connection Spirit, fill 2, die, change and craft, gain 15 beauty. Let's grab Prey. We have a big ocean down here. Wait, desert out here. Yeah, this is a pretty varied map. Want harmony and knowledge. Wasteland and seashore. Wasteland and scrubland. Yeah, let's grab wasteland and scrubland down here, up there. Yeah, down here. Wasteland for knowledge, scrubland for harmony. Yeah, so we want to go salt flats here to open up the rest of the options. A tasty crystalline mirror sparkling beneath the sun. Yeah, and then the Iron Wreck or the Storm Chaser camp will both get us our knowledge requirement. Over here we'll want to go Bramble Hollow. Into a rabbit warren, get an event and also get us our harmony, which means over here we are the Storm Chaser camp. Yeah, we'll just go Storm Chaser camp here, get our knowledge. Scholars gathered here believe the shattering can be understood by studying the storms. And we'll just redraw. There we go. Yep, Life Essence, Rabbit Warren. The settlement's architect is surveying the planned location for the town's new warehouse as the full moon rises above. Lost in thought, he catches movement out of the corner of his eye and is startled to see 2 white rabbits glaring at him. They stand still as statues, the red eyes staring accusingly into his very soul. The man laughs nervously and steps past them. The rabbit's gaze follows. Looking closely, he notices with a sinking feeling the dark mouths of several burrows. Oh, I have to say, Grouchy Rabbits, O'Hara Conson, 1930. Depicts a pair of white rabbits, unusually grumpy. That's a delightful piece of art. I have to imagine some situations like this, they found the art first and then the event came later. in order to feed him with the piece, because this is beautiful. Look at that little man. So we can cancel the project, build a shrine to the rabbits, build around the burrows, or just continue the project. You know what? Praise the rabbit. Build a shrine to them. Haunted by the rabbit's accusing stares, the architect halts construction of the warehouse and begins a new project. The result is a set of tiny white shrines marking the entrances to the rabbit's warren. Settlers leave little piles of hay in front of the shrines as offerings to the town's new patron deities. Gets us the rabbit glyph. Okay, so life essence, and lets us draw any other glyph that also has a life essence. Very cute. Yep, that was correct. That does get us a card we can actually use. A little bit more beauty. Hakutomaki, White Rabbit Town. That name makes sense. The picture or drift? The drift, change, connection, spread connection. We can store it on top of our draw stack. Picture's just good. We've already grabbed that one before. It doesn't have a little new symbol next to it, but yes, the two advanced ones we only have one copy of, and it's just card neutral if we want to replace it, because we can spend it to draw something else. Yep, harmony and knowledge. Sure, we'll go the Seashore Wasteland for this one. Ooh, Bonded Box into Driftwood Shore would be nice here. Two events, and this is knowledge and harmony. Soon after the great rocks were tied with a rope and declared to be a married couple, some settlers began to complain. Since the rocks are unequal in size, they say, they represent an unequal relationship. Several people volunteer to resolve the problem. Poet, scribe, and a mason. Let's let the poet resolve it. Poet stands before the crowd, recites a verse declaring that harmony is found not in equality, but in togetherness. The crowd doesn't seem entirely convinced. They're content enough with having been acknowledged. Okay, connection and spirit. Gain 15 harmony, inspire 2 together. Now the Driftwood Shore. Get that as well. Over several days, new pieces of driftwood make it to the shore with an uncanny regularity. They aren't the usual planks or branches though, but solid wood shaped like tools, a mallet with no joints, a sickle with no metal parts. The driftwood gatherers swear they've never seen anything like this before, and say that sea spirits must be sharing tools with their neighbours. Throw them back, carve the odd driftwood into dice, leave a ceremonial gift in return, leave them alone. Let's leave a ceremonial gift in return. The settlers leave bowls of rice and a cup of sake on the shore for the tide to claim. The offering is gone by morning. A few days later, a large tree branch washes onto the shore. Tucked between its forked twigs are several pre-shattering coins. Coin. All landmark transaction costs reduced by 20%. We are too early in the game to have any landmarks. But it's nice to know where we can get that particular relic from. It's expired currency. It still commands respect. Okay, so where we'll call a shrine, we can also get, it would actually get us all the knowledge too. You know what, let's just go ahead and do that. Then we can worry about the wasteland on our next hand. Priests summon the leviathans of the deep here, and meditate upon their song. Can't use you, so I'll gain some beauty, swap you for a new card. Can't use you either. I could use a change essence on top of my deck though, so we will use her invocation. And that was the only change essence we even got. Good call. Salt Flats. Can't do Iron Wreck. We can do the Storm Chaser Camp though. And Foray. Arakumo Iwa. Storm Cloud Rock. Also short on food. Fountain. action Satisfy 4 and Conjure Life Essence. Transparent, which adds C to the top of our deck and lets us scry some. Grab Fountain. Okay, time for our regional survey. Let's head out over this plains to the north. A recent landslide has deposited a massive pile of loose earth and uprooted shrubbery across the pass. The mud has already settled, but is still a major obstacle. Build the causeway, try a different route, scramble over the top, clear the path. Let's build a causeway over the top. The surveyors lay logs over this mud and pack the gaps with smaller branches until the mud is barely visible underneath. They get across safely, and the causeway will help the rest of the expedition once they catch up. The team approaches a creek that has swelled into a wide stream rushing across the landscape. The water is chest high and moving at a dangerous speed. Swim across, cannot do so, scout for now point. Okay, would have no possible impact, so that's safe. Build an makeshift bridge, also safe. Wade through. I mean, let's just go for a safe option here. We'll spend our radiance, scout for narrow point. It takes an hour of searching, but scouts find a safe fallen log upstream. The surveyor is trying to pass over a hill when they reach a fork in the road. One path looks smooth, well trodden by animals, but it goes all the way around the hill. The other is steep and covered with loose stones, and is much more direct. Animal path, steep path, don't have the option for alternative. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go for the dangerous seeming steep path. Climb is grueling. That gives the surveyors time to identify many of the minerals composing the loose rocks. And we get to choose a mineral glyph. Shell, statue, or ground. And statue is the advanced one here. We will be getting a lot of spirit essence in our deck if we pick this. I could just skip. Wait. You know what? I am just going to grab shell. It's only a common, but I think I'd like to have more stability. Surveyors make their way through a lonely steppe. The wind howls mournfully in the tall grasses, rustles the leaves of the few scattered trees. The days pass with no sign of the bleak landscape ending, and melancholy spreads among the group. One of the explorers has grown increasingly withdrawn. He begins lagging behind, walking with his head down. Keep him company, confront him, sing to raise morale, leave him be. I'm going to grab the beauty off this, then redraw my hand. Yeah, let's go. Yep, let's keep him company. One scout walks beside the gloomy teammate, offering a friendly ear. Soon, the lonely man begins to talk of the family left behind, and his fear that he will never return home. The two become close over the next few days. We get to select an emotion glyph. Effort, full, or toil. Effort is neutral, since we can draw off it, which is nice. Full, feel to inspire 1. Toil, let's grab effort. Survey is finished. I do quite like the flow of the surveys because the actual events they draw from are based off where they're physically wandering. So because we've been wandering through this open flat land with a few hills in it, we get events about wandering through open flat floodplains where there are a few hills in them. It's quite nice. All of our settlements are harmony yield food deficit. We need, what's a good security place? Yeah, I think we might need to double back in order to get the security here. Wasteland, Canyon, sure. Back in the corner. Yeah, suspended bridge into the Gorge Way Station, or even the Eternal Vault will be good for security, safety. I do that, then production is behind Salt Flat into Iron Wreck. Okay. Every morning, salters head to the flats to fill their buckets with pale crystals and bring back the treasure to the village by sundown. Among these salters are two sisters. The elder, Akiko, works without complaint and returns home with salt crusting her sleeves and sandals every evening. The younger, Haruko, often leaves her bucket half filled and spends her time tracing patterns on the ground with a length of string. When merchants come to town, she often leaves her sister behind and spends her day convincing the merchants to buy more salt. Akiko resents working alone on market days, while Haruko insists that a merchant's first impression is worth more than a bucket of salt. Now, I don't particularly want to risk losing productivity or safety here. What's the deal with this art? Yeah, 1700s. Yeah, it depicts two young women collecting brine in buckets at Tago Bay, present-day Shizuoka Prefecture, Mount Fuji in the distance. Let's consult the village elder. I'm worried one of these two is going to, really drop productivity. Consult the village elder seems like it might avoid that. The sisters decide to seek advice from the village elder. The elder listens for a while, then proposes they exchange responsibilities until the next full moon. Haruka returns home every day with aching shoulders, while Akiko quickly learns that merchants rarely agree on anything, and a single misplaced word can spoil an entire afternoon of bargaining. When the full moon finally rises, both sisters return to their tasks, never mentioning the argument again. A good outcome for us. Okay, so we are looking at the iron wreck. Sticky there. We're looking at for safety stuff here. I think what we do here is we continue. I want to get that craft. Iron wreck. Curiously, these giants are found in wastelands all across the shards. And we draw off rabbit. Okay, yeah. Life, which we did not need. We use wind, discard that, draw one. There we go, mountain. Which is good for us. Get that suspended bridge across the gorge. A test of faith for strangers. A test of balance for the locals. A test of trust for fellow travelers. Okay. Oh, still no stability essence. We can just fill two using this. We can draw one off this, which I think is a good call. We have plenty of other craft available to us. Gain the beauty, draw you. Yeah, we're only going to need the one craft. We can draw again off you. Okay. Right. I guess we're just using fill 2, so what you do. Okay, both the stability. Means we can grab the Eternal Vault rather than the Gorge Way Station here. Yeah, we'll use our one-time building here. Bit of a waste, but... No records remain of what lies beneath this massive gate, but whoever built it clearly wanted to make sure it stays inside. Yeah, you can see the big arrow-shaped carving cut into the side of the canyon now. A little bit more beauty, and foray. Iwato, stone door. Still short on food. At least this one produces something different. Law. Lock a selector slite preventing sites from being filled. Useful if you're messing around with slight fill invocations. Also draws one stability thing. Sure, let's keep making the deck bigger. And see the roofs of the houses kind of vary based on what type of settlement we are. So the Harmony settlement's little blue roofs. This Security settlement over here has purple roofs. We need Harmony and Knowledge now. Yeah, Scrubland Seashore, again down here. Reckon so. Mulberry Patch, Silkweaver's Hut is where the events are this time. Might be what we go with. It's Yeah, I think we're doing the same Bonded Rocks onwards route here. In order to make use this harmony and this knowledge. In which case, yeah, we are running for the mulberry patch here. That's cool. We want the paper mulberry grove and stuff. Okay, so this is food and productivity. We don't particularly care about either food or productivity here, so we can favor one or the other of these to change the outcome. Let's favor the berries. The silkworms are put on strict diet and indoctrinated into an aesthetic lifestyle. Ascetic lifestyle, even. When the berries ripen, the villagers will fill their pantries with mulberry wine and stuff themselves with millet dumplings topped with fresh berries. Yeah, is trade one for the other. Now we will not go Silkweaver's hut, however, because we need the knowledge of this. Bonded Rocks. I don't want to lock a site to use invocation here. So we'll just spend you like so. Driftwood Shawl. Would be ideal. So we'll draw a few. Satisfies 4 and conjure life. Yeah, we'll use invocation on you too. It's nice. Grab the paper mulberry grove. You will add craft and change. I think I'll just use you. What we really want, what's our current chance? 74% chance to draw a spirit glyph. If we add a non-spirit card on top of this, that will cancel that down quite a bit. We'll just redraw. Yeah, we did only get the one spirit too. Which we will use just there. Yep, that's this met. Now, let's see which spot you fill if I just make you fill a spot. Okay, one over here. We can get the paper studio. Let's do so. And doesn't do anything but slot you in. Zono, paper mulberry field. Yep, produces knowledge, short security. It's probably time to excise something from the deck. Remove a glyph. Or draw on to cut. Connection stuff is very useful, especially as we come up to the convergence. Basic stuff. We have 4 single stability glyphs, 4 single life glyphs. The only advanced single ones we have are 1 of each. You know what? Let's cut you, the spirit. Okay, survey 6 of 6. You want a whole lot of adventure. Yeah, 35 adventure. Adventure I tend to find is probably the rarest. Light supply, swamp is good for it. Swamp is good for it. Can reach a swamp down here. I cannot quite get swamp and seashore. Forest and seashore will have to... Forest and swamp will have to do. Forest is not good since it's just tied behind Verdant Labyrinth, but... Right, this route will try to accomplish it. Murky Trail into Sunken Fortress. Following Lantern Path, lanterns leap deep into the bog, far past the safe trails. Use you, satisfy and conjure. Yep, and that lets us grab this foraging glade. Did not draw any of our craft. 30% chance if we just draw 1 for it to be the craft though. We can continue. I'm just going to continue in that craft. Sunken Fortress. Moss-covered walls rise from the murky depths, a testament to ancient stubbornness. And fruit grove for... Yeah, fruit grove for the event, I think. I don't want that craft. I can fill one random. Chance you'll do the wildlife sanctuary. Use you there. 50%, 50%. I want you to draw to see if we can do that. 30% chance here. So this is slightly higher of getting the fruit grove, and we got it. The harvest was late. By the time anyone noticed, the grove's bounty had begun to fall. Bright persimmons now lie bruised and soft beneath the trees, their skin splitting in the sun. There's enough food in the stores. The elders remember lean winters, and say letting this much spoil is a betrayal. Now, I feel like the phrasing here is a bit awkward. This should probably be the harvest was early, or the fruit ripened early. Like, the harvest is too late to catch the fruit is what they mean here, but yeah, it's oddly termed. Youngsters point to the scent of ferment and the slowly gathering wasps, and suggest that the fruit has already chosen its fate. Sort and mulch what can't be saved, leave the fruit for the animals, burn the fruit at ceremonial offering, gather it and store everything. Let's leave fruit for the animals. Fruit is left where it lies. Over the weeks, deer wander close, birds come at dawn, a few wild boars dig in the piles. Locals avoid the grove until all the fruit is eaten. Gets us some harmony. Yep, and we'll see if I draw something useful. I do not. Nasuko Dachi, Summer Grove, After's Fruit Grove. Yeah, you produce adventure and are short manufacturing. Turtle, level, or book, or another discard. Let's grab turtle. And now phase 1, convergence. Okay. So now, when we place the capital, it will get a yield based on the terrain we place it in. Now, quite unfortunately, yeah, we do not get the option to produce food. That would be the ideal one, because food is what we are most short on. Oh no, we do over here. Yes, hills and small building both produce food. Okay, so we want the capital up here on these hills. Just build over the top of those buildings. There's a chance I'll be able to make use of them. If I build the capital just here on these hills. Yeah. Start convergence. Yeah, and the capital is producing a food yield. And now we can connect settlements to the capital, and then it will supply food to them, meeting its requirement. And then if I build, and they will also supply to the capital whatever it supplies, then we can export that else out somewhere else. Like, we have a lot of places producing harmony. You produce security, which is a bit rarer. Let's just connect you up. Like so. The little road extends, and the capital now has safety and food. And it filled in these 2 slots. That settlement is now happy. Okay, so we have 2 crafts. We could complete the manufacturing requirement there. I've always needed a lot of food and stability. Yeah, I'll just do both of those. Yep, that settlement is now happy. And you can see we're now surviving. We're only going to be losing 20 inspiration even if we accomplish nothing else. Slot you in there. Draw something using you. Okay, you go there. Redraw hand. We can get that ready. I don't think satisfying does anything here, so a bit tragic. Life essence, okay. Yeah, so we're just going to use you right there. Might as well try for a more interesting life card, because I'm not going to get anything from that. Nah, nothing, so you can just live there. And we'll get the yields off both of these. And the convergence. Yep, we lose 10 inspiration. Gain 35, and now we get to draw a relic at the end of the convergence. So, the Traveler's Abacus reduces hand size by 2, but increases the amount of times you can redraw by 1. So we'll go from 2, hands, plural, to 3 hands, but each hand is smaller. A whole lot more inspiration with the Commemorative Tapestry, or better glyphs. Better glyphs are nice. We'll just grab the Commemorative Tapestry for the moment, woven with every colour the settlers could find. And as you can see, they have more needs now, so their second shortage is also live. I do think we're probably just going to finish up this expedition at this point. We'll kind of complete our current quests, we'll keep moving the story along. Bonus insights for finishing early. Discretion is the better part of valor. Otonone Shima. No shard culture associated with this place. A whole lot of new things. Return to Haven. See how swiftly that capital took root. The people build, guided by divine strokes. It is only thanks to you that we know the Enlightened One's will. We'd be lost without you. I only set down what is given. With the Enlightened One's blessing, we have woven the first knot in a cord that will soon bind all shards. Yet walls and field alone will not hold us together. Without memory, stone crumbles, and hope with it. Well, what should we do? We must not only rebuild homes, but also preserve the sacred knowledge. The Enlightened One grants us strokes of wisdom. It is our duty to inscribe them, to carry them intact across every gate. We'll get ink and parchment at once. Okay, learn the Inscribe Glyph skill and inscribe a glyph. Right, new changes out in the shard histories. Yep, so we can see we're now revealing some of the history of the new shards. So, in Irojima, our tight-knit community, without a central capital to order folks around, the people of Irojima rely on village councils to make all the important decisions. The villages here operate as a loose confederation of independent neighbours, sharing their surpluses and resolving conflicts directly with their neighbours, but never letting outsiders make their decisions. And, over on our managed estate, Ritsu no Kuni, following the first census, Overseer Kinzo, the Enlightened One's chosen, took his duties seriously. To ensure food security, all grain grown in Ritsu no Kuni was collected at the capital, weighed, taxed, and redistributed, often to the same farms that grew it. Those questioning this marvel of administrative efficiency often found their ration forms misplaced by the Agriculture Ministry's officers for months at a time. I see a few more people showing up. Yeah, more visitors from the settlements we've already created. Still some refugees though. And learn a skill, so yeah. And which was the skill on a slide for the crest? Inscribe Glyph skill. Which is, yeah, down there, so. Okay, Signature Glyph allows us to select a signature glyph to include in our deck at the start of an expedition. Unlock you. And then Inscribe Glyph allows you to salvage a glyph at the end of each phase and inscribe common rarity glyphs for use as signature glyphs. Yeah, and this has unlocked the Study Glyphs building. Now lets us Make glyphs. So we have an inventory of certain strokes, which you can combine to make certain glyphs. Cool. Let's just do ready to be inscribed. Okay, so these are the ones we can make. So one of these I want to add to our deck as a signature. Honestly, we don't have that good in the range of common glyphs at this point. Satisfy all 2, spread. Honestly, down is decent because it's practically a common glyph that is 2 different essences. The big mouth rabbit. Make our... Adapt can be fun. Adapt adds a simple glyph of an essence you do not already have in your hand. So if you don't have what you need, Adapt can help you get there. For sure. We will inscribe down. Oh, enlightened one, we've begun sealing your wisdom in parchment and ink. We shall carry these glyphs with us across the shards, so by your will, we may bring the world together once more. I can feel divine grace resonating through the glyphs. The world's restoration is close at hand. What's left for us to do now? While ink preserves wisdom, without practice it is but a record. We must raise shrines across the shards, where each breath carries the enlightened one's teachings. Okay, new quest. Establish a forest shrine. You may require 50 harmony or 50 safety to achieve some outcomes. Afterwards, establish a lake island shrine on a different shard. Now, I believe these quests have shard cultures associated with them. I don't think I need to set another culture as a quest to remind me of it yet at this point. Yeah, so we'll just keep building out. Do still have some inspiration to spend. Okay, allows me to reroll goals. 160 allows me to inscribe uncommon glyphs. That would be nice. Yeah, more survey stuff. Okay, our first landmark. Can't afford that either. Yeah, this would essentially allow us, once we build the shard capital, we could start trading resources. If I need a certain amount for a particular reason. Yeah, more shard capital stuff. Starting relics, not bad. Event preview. Now, I am just going to go starting glyphs +1, I think. It's such a big power boost, just having more draws. We'll just grab you. I think actually setting signature glyphs, I think is just done. Yes, from here now. I want to choose a signature glyph. Here are all the glyphs we have available. Actually, we can start altering even like our deck yet? No, we cannot alter the deck, not at this point. We start being able to alter our starting deck to different common glyphs at some point. Can you fill... Yep, where is... down? We'll use that. Let's go. Okay, a lot of forest, which is good. We need the forest for the forest shrine. We want to get 50 harmony or 50 safety before we start worrying about that. Oh, lake. That is a new environment we have not started with yet. Lake, plains. I know forest productivity deletes a lot of other resources. I don't want to go negative, so we'll just go lake and plains for our first settlement. But yeah, hemp breeding station, fermentation beds, dyers workshops. Yeah, a lot of productivity on lakes. And we have a lot of stability. Which I guess we'll use some there. Hemp breeding station. The lake chews the hemp, spitting out the fibre. Weavers claim it's worth the smell. can go Pilgrim's Rest. And yeah, we're trying to get safety, harmony. Safety and harmony. Storyteller's Camp could be good for the event if we can grab you. Over here. Yeah, we don't have enough craft to get to the Master Dyer's workshop. And just the safety is useful, so I'll just use you. You there. I'll just discard that to draw something else. Okay, that can be... You know what? With that continue, we might actually have enough craft now. Let's get that indigo fermentation bed built further up. Okay, didn't draw the radiance we needed. Yeah, that was quite sad. Yeah, both these were tied behind getting radiance. When you were tied getting past the connection, we probably should have just spent the connection there. I don't really think there is anything we can do here. Gain some beauty, and then that is that. Amatsuno, Heavenly Field. Parent is good. Yeah, life connection can turn into change life. Beast gets us a lot of adventure at the cost of safety. That can actually be a pretty decent card. Grab Parent for now, though. Plains and mountains over here. Forest and mountains. We'll grab plains and mountains over here. Get some more security. Yeah, Pilgrim's Rest. Definitely. Winding Path. I've changed. It's Smoldering Crater. I don't particularly mind which one you fill. Okay, Lava-fed Forges. Let's see what is on top of our deck. Okay, connection and life, which can also be changed. We don't particularly want any of that, so discard you. And then I want to commit to the Lava-fed Forges? Not really. So we'll discard that connection, draw something off you. Okay, that gets life we needed anyway. Cool. Okay, so you need to be an Earth. Yep. Grab you there. Oh, we are not finishing this, unfortunately. Do not have the spirit. Instead, we're just going... You. Reservoir of Leisure. The reservoir is built to hold back disaster and has grown to serve as a place of leisure instead. Stalls line the banks, filling juicy dumplings and cold barley tea. The air is lined with the rustle of leaves and relaxed chatter. A safety warden frowns at the crowd, tapping his ledger. If a fire starts, these benches will block the bucket brigade. This is a hazard, not a park. If a fire starts, we'll douse it with the tea, the keeper laughs. Come, sit. Okay, so we're trying to maintain safety. I'm worried letting the stalls remain might drop our safety. We are quite a bit over, but for now, let's clear the stalls from the banks. The warden remains unconvinced and orders the stalls moved away. Risk is too great to ignore, he insists. Reluctantly, the settlers help the stallkeepers pack up their bowls and carts. The crowd soon disperses, grumbling about the heat. Okay, yeah, I did hit into the harmony, which is sad because we're trying to get that up, but got the safety up at least. A little bit of beauty. Boiling Springs Plateau, Baku Izumi. Versus Lose Harmony, Gain Adventure. Woman is life that targets harmony. Tree is life. Add seed to the top of the deck. None of these are the best, but I might get some use out of you. Okay, Harmony Settlement. That is nice. We're looking for harmony. Forest and Plains. Forest and Lake. Let's just go Forest and Plains just to here. Yeah, there's the hidden shrine. That's the, purple for the actual quest. We want to get 50 harmony before we build that, though. Endless Blossoms. Eventually good. Yeah, you can change into more stability. We have a lot of stability available. Yeah, so for now, let's just go Pilgrim's Rest. Yeah, really we did want the Radiance, though, to get the harmony here from the Storyteller's Camp. Forager's Glade. I will also use you for your life. Use you for fire change. We don't need that. Wildlife Sanctuary. Use you there. A little bit more security. Still no Radiance. 20% chance to draw that too. Yeah. Not good. Not great. We are going to have to go the post road for the rest of this. Grab you. Grab you. Well, that gets a success at least. Let's see what we draw. Yeah, nothing spectacular. Onowake, fork in the road, after its post road. Conjures a wound. Let's just bless security. I like that. We'll grab swim, regional survey, survey out in this direction. The tigers. Scouts begin to notice unusual silence in the air. The birds and insects have suddenly grown quiet. As they press forward, a tigress emerges through the tall grass with 3 nearly grown cubs behind her. She growls, watching the surveyors intently. 1895. Propaganda print from the First Sino-Japanese War depicts a group of Japanese soldiers being confronted by a pack of tigers set upon them by the Chinese Qing army. Such a scene, no basis in real history. I would hope so. Light a torch, watch the tiger's behavior, run away. We can throw provisions at them. Light a torch. The explorers quickly light their torches. Yep. Lost a bunch of safety, still over the threshold though. The tigers worry, back up. One scout, her hands trembling, accidentally drops hers. The dry grass begins to smoulder, and the group is forced to abandon their route and race ahead of the spreading fire. Our abandoned temple again. This is the first repeat we've seen, so we know that gets us a bit of inspiration. We don't particularly want to do that. Look for anything unusual? Sure. You there? You there? A few brave members of the team climb the stairs to the temple's upper level, hoping to investigate the strange noises before setting up camp. Afraid to ignite the dry wood, they conduct the search in the dark. Though they fail to find the source of the alleged noise, they return with a little statuette, surprisingly unlike the image of the enlightened one they're used to. For every 2 radiant slots filled, gain 15 harmony. Other than the ears, this deity looks unrecognizable. Okay, the stream crossing again. Just try to swim across. Yeah, let's see what this does as an outcome. Yep, more safety loss. Most of the surveyors manage to swim over the stream, but a few get carried downstream, emerging bruised, soaked, and shivering. The missing rations. When the team stops to have their meal, one of the scouts notices that half her rice is missing from her pack. After a brief investigation, one of the younger team members admits that he had forgotten to pack his rations and ate hers during yesterday's meal. The woman is furious and threatening to beat up the thief. Oh yeah, this icon. Now, this is a fun little painting. I remember this one from the demo. Mayumi the Brave Woman, 1900s. Depicts a female samurai dragging a man who's begging for mercy. I just really like this as a little piece of art. You can see they've edited out the weapons and stuff for the actual in-game image because they're scouts rather than samurai now. There's something very nice about this piece, just like the leaves and the grass and the colours. Very pretty. Let the thief carry her pack, let her have her revenge. Do you kind of want harmony? Let's try having the thief carry her pack. Lost inspiration. The young scout had no choice but to accept the extra burden. The rift remains unhealed, sure to lead to trouble down the road. Yeah, I guess I'll bless you. Draw something. Yep, nothing useful. 20 knowledge. Scrubland is good for knowledge. Lake, not exceptionally. River, no. Swamp and large building. Oh yeah, knowledge out in the middle of the swamp. Yeah, the apothecary hut into the alchemist retreat is the path here. Uncle Garden gets a little bit. Public school, of course, is the big one in the large building. Complete lack of life, however, in our hand. Ooh, real complete lack of life. I guess we're going rice paddy into Fungal Garden here, just so we can do something with our starting hand. Yeah, can eventually lose harmony. We don't want to be doing that. Yeah, this is rough. We don't want to fill the wrong one, so we can't use that. One life. There we go. Some life, some life. Yeah. Conjure. That is life. Fire. We'll get over the amount we need at least. We can continue to get that one, but doesn't really matter. We need Radiance in order to progress any further. That's not happening. Old logs are collected here, soon to erupt into flushes of tasty mushrooms. Yep, nothing else really to do. Teaching field after its public school, Machino. Time to start cutting some basics from here. We have plenty of change. Let's just cut the basic fire glyph. Okay, big harmony settlement. Forest and rocky cliff, both good. Mountain and forest, also good. Forest and lake, forest and mountain. Lake and plains, lake and forest. Let's go lake and plains, down here. Okay, Island Shrine into Boat Festival is where a lot of that yield was tied up. Yeah, lake is not as good for harmony as I was hoping. Pilgrim's Rest into the Storyteller's Camp, and we only have the one Radiance. It is going to be a bit of a problem for us. I could go Wildflower Meadow into Sacred Grove to try and get Endless Blossoms. That might actually be a bit more viable somehow. Wildflower Meadow. Sacred Grove. Yeah. We are quite short. Let us see what we might draw with that. Okay, life and connection. That is good. Yeah, keep. Gain the security off that. Discard mountain. Draw parent. Conjure it for child. It's not really going to accomplish anything here because we want it for the life use. Oh, we are short on spirit. Very likely to draw change. The Endless Blossoms. Put you there, Sacred Grove. Okay, and we can continue into the spirit. That is kind of what I was hoping. Petals carpet the field in unending bloom, as if spring itself took a vow never to leave. And now, these ones, we can only get one of these in. I guess we'll do the ferry crossing since we're still looking for a bit of harmony. Takes about as long to cross as walking around the lake, but your feet will thank you. Yeah, that's cute. It puts down at the two opposite ends. Peorida, Fragrant Field. Okay, and that gets us past both of the amounts we wanted for the crest. We now need to establish Forest Shrine. None of these are particularly good. But we'll remove a glyph. We will remove this. Yep, it's other basic fire one. For a 6/6, we're looking for high security. Plains and small building. Forest, rock, cliff, mountain, swamp. Yeah, plains and small building, I think. Guardhouse into watch post for the small building. Pilgrim's Rest and Firebreak Reservoir over here. We can even bless the security first. Yeah, that's worth it. Get the event. Okay, Forgotten Pouch again. This time, we're not grabbing the Traveler's Pouch. Instead, let us search for the owner. Thus, the settlers follow a trail of flattened grass and catch up to a traveller by the next ridge. She smiles in relief at the sight of the pouch. You did have to go through all this trouble, she says. I'm so grateful that you did. Okay, Righteousness, our first rare glyph. Yeah, Stability, Spirit, Connection, Spread Stability, so duplicates a random glyph in your hand that has stability, and you can also store it on top of your deck if you do that. That's a good glyph. That is a good glyph. Even go to the tea house for the event if I reckon I can get the Firebreak Reservoir. 56% chance to get that. I have some other continuing stuff. Actually, I can just fill to do this. Okay, yeah. Get the tea house for the event. The new tea house is complete, as doors open to the breeze. An old couple is serving tea to those moving on with the expedition. They usually serve simple green tea, with a few snacks and sweets, but maybe this occasion calls for something more elaborate. A proper feast, arrange it beautifully, focus on simplicity. We don't have time for this. No requirements for any of these. Let's make it a proper feast. Snacks and sweets are preceded by rice, soup, and grilled skewers. Tea bowls, once emptied, are refilled with beer and rice wine. Ceremony turns into a lively gathering, with laughter and seconds for all. Future opportunities have changed. Interesting. That event might have an effect later on. Paper screens glow with lantern light, while gossip flows around bowls of steaming tea. Yeah, stick you there. Only one slot available, so you will fill that. Get the reservoir. Get that. Don't actually use Righteousness. Use you. Draw a card. Okay. And foray. Jayabara, Tea House Plain. After its tea house. Plant. Or priestess. Let's grab plant. I really need more advanced stuff. We are running low on that. Phase 1 convergence. Something with knowledge would not go amiss. Knowledge or adventure. Large building over there for knowledge. Swamp for adventure. We are producing knowledge from one of our other towns. If we connect that up, this will sort out. So we want a swamp capital. Yeah, just there. Take a quick drink of water. Yeah, talking a bit more than I'm used to this stream. My throat's getting a bit sore. I'll make it though, I'll survive. So you produce adventure. And yeah, knowledge requires radiance. We cannot complete this storage just by slotting glyphs in. We really need to get knowledge production over here. In order to get knowledge production over here, we have this settlement. This place wants security. Okay, if we can connect you up. First of all, just get this established. Okay, then we want to connect, yeah, a place that produces security, which can be this place, and they'll get a little, like, yeah, link going through. That gives knowledge, this gives adventure, that gives security. So that little circle works. Now we're going to need a lot of change in order to get more fire stuff. Not much else we can really do with this stuff, I don't think. We don't want to get food off this because I'll put this on top of the deck and we don't have another use for it. We'll just gain some harmony off that. We will look at the top card of our deck. Radiance. Tragically, with only one Radiance, we might not be able to use that. If we get a continue, though, maybe. That might have been a mistake. Might be a mistake. We can do a fill with it. I think that might be the best use, yeah. Good. It hit one of the connections. That is best possible outcome. Okay, we have 2 more connections too. We can get everything. Okay, so... Yep, let's go... You... And then last connection links that up. Oh, every need met. And only one settlement not connected to the capital. And now, as you see, our capital is producing a whole lot of resources. 5 of the 7 total resources. And the connections are now really good off this place. It can cover most shortages just by itself. So we select a relic, better hand size, better inspiration, more rewards. Let's increase our rewards at the moment. I have not been liking the ones we've been getting. A larger pool will make that a bit easier. Papers tied with red twine and passed between hands. Take the one that speaks to you. And we now get to remove a glyph from our deck. Thinking one of our basic stability ones. Yeah, and this will also add the strokes in it into our pool of stuff to make characters. And as you can see, things start getting more complicated. We're not really set up to do post-convergence settling yet, but I will give it a shot. I do kind of want to try and get this quest done. Establish a forest shrine. Forest plains just here. Yep. Yeah, we're just going to grab the hidden shrine and then try and survive. Yep, this is the legacy event our quest gave us. Defiled Shrine. Morning finds the shrine defiled, fences crushed, offerings overturned, and sacred ground soiled. Rumours mutter of drunk settlers stumbling home from the shrine dedication. These formerly drunk settlers point the finger at wild beast, drawn by food left over from the celebration. Monks discuss whether to set guards at the shrine, question the people, or deter the animals. Unable to settle on a solution, they meditate to receive the Enlightened One's wisdom. Okay, and similar to the copper ring relic we got, this will have a minor impact on the story and the game going forward. We can question the locals, station guards and only admit monks, cull the wild animals, forgive and move on. I think in the demo I did forgive and move on, since this is the other requirement path, 50 safety. Yeah. We're going a bit more closed monastic here. Station guards and admit only monks. Fences rebuilt taller, with gates that open only to monks. Guards are hired to stand watch with staves at all hours. The sacred grounds remain protected. Villagers and animals alike maintain their distance. The monks breathe easier. Their peace is no longer disturbed. Okay, now to avoid game over here, we need to figure out as much of this as possible. Okay, so we have 19. This will get us all our food and all our harmony. Our creep field onto apiary, which would be pretty good as a way to survive. This would also leave us live. We'll go Wildfire Meadow into Sacred Grove. Also get us another event. So let's go, yeah, this way. Wildflower Meadow. Yeah, stick you in there. Okay, we can keep that. Redraw. Okay, that is the only source of life we got, so we use so. Okay, and the Hollow Heart event again. Grandfather Grove, a massive tree. To lose beauty, get ancient bark. We don't want to do that. Pack it with hollow sand. Fell it before it hurts someone. Let's try packing it with hollow sand this time. The void is filled with gravel and sand. Pack tight. Ow. Okay, so that's just worse. Yeah, and I think we're going to die without our bonus inspiration now. Until the trunk is solid again. It's safe from falling, anchored by its heavy new core. However, soon the leaves turn brown and drop, leaving a standing skeleton of branches. It remains as a monument, undeniable and sturdy, but it no longer sings in the wind. Yep, not great. Not great. Gain some stability. Can I draw some miracle card I don't remember having in my deck? No, I cannot. Don't. That's game over. Gigan Mori, Prairwoods, after its hidden shrine. Motojima, the site of the first shrine. We did, however, get that shrine in, meaning we have the legacy culture associated with this story objective. Very good. Some new buildings, some new stuff. Yep. And now we just need to do the Lake Shrine Island. Yeah, and more history stuff. So, the tight-knit community, second part of the history. The refusal to establish essential authorities led to a predictable, if charming, chaos in the marketplace. Without a capital to dictate weights and measures, each village in Iriya-Ijima has to develop its own standard. A bushel in Manabia is now defined as 4 bundles, while in Tobino, it is defined as what a grown-up can carry without complaining. Without a single currency, most trade is done through a complicated web of debt relationships, and traders now carry more scrolls recording who owes whom than actual goods. Over on the managed estate, Kritsuno Kuni, yield management reached a new level of efficiency when each town was ordered to focus entirely on one industry. For example, Tachardai was tasked with delivering nothing but chopsticks. This left the town with no firewood, threatening to leave it frozen, but the overseer saved the day by sending a massive shipment of timber, proving once again the wisdom of his leadership. And in the site of the first shrine, Motojima. Motojima was the site of the first official shrine to the Enlightened One in the New World. Despite an initial incident after the shrine's dedication, the monks maintained it in perfect condition since. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We have 100 insight to play with. So, more inspiration. Yeah, sites per phase, this is a big one. So now, after every convergence, if we grab this, this will add a third location after the first convergence. If I get past the second location, will now be 4 sites per phase, which will be quite important. Especially because like the goal starts scaling up and you need more locations to actually meet the base requirements, unless you're getting very lucky with blessing and the like. Other options, starting relics, all sorts of stuff, yeah. Let's grab sites per phase. And with a tiny bit spare, let's grab a tiny bit more inspiration. Back out we go. Okay, now we want a lake shrine. We do have a lake. It is all the way out here. We need to move in order to get over there and get this shrine built. Okay, forest and plains, good for harmony. That's a good start. Pilgrim's Rest into Kitefield. Both of our events. Yep. Golden Pouch again. Could grab Righteousness, which would be very good. But let's see what the last option here is. Build a little lost and found box. I won't solve everything, but it's a start. Settlers leave a tiny wooden box with a polite sign and trust them we put to good use. Okay, and that just gets us the harmony we needed. I mean, let's just go Foraging Glade here. Good grab earth from there. Don't really need it. Blot you in there just in case. Yeah, I can make use of that. Redraw. Cool. Get the Storyteller Camp. Get you in. Yep, nothing particularly interesting. Send the survey. Hokage Mura, Power Village, Afterus Forest. We get Child, Grass, or Make. Let's just grab Child. Okay, Adventure, and... Yep, Adventure and Manufacturing, Swamp and Small Building. Seems like a good combo for that, and is still moving us towards the lake. Guardhouse, Wash Post, Workshop. Yeah, so Granary into Workshop is how we'll be wanting to go here. This place is going to be wanting to go Murky Trail. Get the Adventure, Granary. And now, it doesn't really matter which path we go here. Yep, I take another, or if we take another -10 penalty safety, we will be safety negative. Need to keep that in mind. I could just go the Apothecary Hut to be safe. Only 56% chance to draw the craft card. I'm going to risk the fill option. Apothecary Hut anyway, okay. Discard you. Really hope we get the craft. We did. Oh, Workshop. Excellent, excellent. And we could even get the Weaving House or the Alchemist's Retreat by doing it this way. Let's keep our safety yield up. We do have enough now to do this if I really wanted to. We'll do the... Yeah, no, I don't have anything else to slot in here in order to do the continue. So, Weaving House. Excellent. Heyo Kusoyaki, 100 Herb Bog, after its apothecary hut. Ball, insect, or early? What does early add on top of the deck? Morning. Huh. That ain't a bad card to stick on top of the deck. Inspire and draw. I'm not sure. Let's add early to the deck. Now, adventure and security. A little bit of a counter synergy in the swamp there. Yeah, so maybe forest small building would be better. Yeah, when you guardhouse into watch post. That'll be good. And we need some more adventure, which is, yeah, unfortunately we are just going to almost only lose some here. Lose some inspiration. We're not making it to Verdant Labyrinth. At the watch post, a single guard posted in this tower can do the work of 3 patrols walking around the town perimeter and sip tea at the same time. Might as well get you slotted in there. Yep, I'll stick that on top of the deck. Make use of early morning. Yeah. Don't think we're making it all the way to Verdant Labyrinth. We do Fruit Grove just for the event. That'll be 1, and then I have 4 cards to try and manage my way through this. Have you, I have you. You will draw something. I could get Verdant Labyrinth. Theoretically, we're going to try for it. I probably should have done the draw, beforehand to attempt that, but, we'll risk it and just go in blind to see if this does anything. Yeah, what do you draw? Okay, another draw. I don't actually know if we have any cards capable of continuing here. No, we don't actually. That was a bit of a mistake. Oh well. We were going to lose that inspiration anyway. Mima Warino, patrol field, after its guardhouse. So we could get foot, king, or tree. I see poor options all around here. I think I might just cut a glyph rather than add another bad glyph to the deck. Yeah, we'll continue to survey out in this direction towards the lake. Yeah, stream crossing once again. Chance of safety loss. Build a makeshift bridge to get across. Wade through the current is almost certainly bad. Let's see what it does. I mean, it's oddly expensive if it's a bad outcome. Okay, a guaranteed small safety loss. The team manages to cross the stream. Now they're soaked and shivering. Wild fruits. Food gain or safety loss. We can cook the fruit, find something wildlife does eat. Let's cook it. Team sets up a campfire and boils the sweet fruit into a sweet, nutritious paste. They leave their bellies full and their rations replenished. The hapless carter. The survey team comes upon a cart stuck before a little stream. The settler pulling the cart had decided to go ahead of the expedition and is now stuck, unable to get the wide cart over the narrow bridge. Dismantle the cart, carry it over, take the settler along. Dismantle the cart. One of the scouts suggests taking the cart apart and carrying it piece by piece. The plan works perfectly until someone manages to drop one of the wheels, which is quickly carried off by the current. The settler is left heartbroken, waiting for the rest of the expedition to catch up. We lose 6 inspiration. Whenever you use a continue goal, you gain 3 points of a random 4A goal. Missing rations once again. So settle for an apology, compensator from others' rations. some reason I feel like that one might end up being like a poor decision. We meet the requirement for it, so let's redraw, yeah, and do that. The rest of the survey team offers to share their rations as compensation. The woman's anger dissipates by the time she finishes the meal. Okay, we choose a food glyph to add. Starve is change and spirit. Adapt 2 if you spend 20 food. Interesting. Do that, so... Yep, and then end the survey. Harmony and adventure. I'm going to try and get this Lake Island Shrine established. Maybe not on this one though, there's no adventure in the lake, not really. Yeah, forest and swamp. And a settlement in there. Yeah, so that's the Harmony in the Wildlife Sanctuary. And then the adventure over here on the Murky Trail. Again, we are very life essence focused here. Let's just see what's on top of the deck. Okay, life essence, keep that. And let's just discard something, draw that. Wildlife Sanctuary, cool. That will be change and craft on top of the deck. Don't think we need that. Now, you can just live there. Okay. That's the Murky Trail. We don't have the spirit needed for this. I could get the Verdant Labyrinth up. Probably fine, though. Do the Apothecary Hut again. Then you... Yep, and N4A. Matsukage, Pine Shade, After's Forest. Again, poor glyphs. Fill 2, discard 2. Fill 1. Might just grab Fit and add this to the deck. Yeah. Venture and Manufacturing. Still not what we really want the lake for. Lake and Scrubland. I can get Lake and Wasteland here. I don't feel like a shrine is going to be manufacturing based though. So again, Forest Swamp. Yeah, then we do Woodcutter's Camp. And the Murky Trail. Woodcutter's Camp. Dry stumps dot the clearing, each a mute witness to a tree's reluctant farewell. Okay, I don't want to just do a random fill here. Discard. You know what? That gets me the lumberyard at least. Yeah, I'm happy with getting that. Oh, and that's right. With the... yeah, we also gain some points towards other stuff from the cartwheel with the continue invocation. Okay, that gets us the Glowing Lantern Trail. The Spirit of the Swamp. A young man, Hiroshi, is wandering through the rainy swamp at night, and dark trees towering over his head. The raindrops fall heavily on his sturdy umbrella as he passes between the glowing lanterns, guiding him along the path. His younger brother, Makoto, spoke of meeting a giant grinning spirit bounding through the trees one evening. The other children in the village are making fun of the boy and calling him a liar. Hoping to uphold his brother's honor, Hiroshi presses further into the swamp's depths. Ask the spirit for help, waiting in the path, venture off the main path. Venturing off the main path? Let's see if this is a good or bad idea. Having walked past the last lantern with nothing to show for it, Hiroshi decides to step off the main path. He follows the sound of a croaking frog, his own little lantern lighting the way. He soon finds his feet ankle deep in the water. As he raises his lantern, he catches a glimpse of a dark slanted rooftop at the edge of a black pool, half hidden by reeds. Yep, I'm getting some more adventure for going off the path. Get a little bit of the security spent back. And I think we'll just end the foray there. Somamichi, Timber Path, Miss Woodcutter's Camp. Oh, we just got a rare one in the pool. I'll take that. Obey. Right, Blessed's productivity does make you lose inspiration if you decide to use the blessing though. But it does just have a whole bunch of essences on it, which is useful. Okay, up to 3, so beauty, safety, and adventure. Beauty, safety, and adventure. Forest and small building? Try it. Yeah. Can we get the Verdant Labyrinth up? That is the question for us now. Well, Guardhouse into Watch Post would actually get both of these. We are just looking up there, so the Internal Glade could also manage this. You need to be like that. You could be Earth if we need you to be Earth. I do think we need you to be Earth. Now we need connection there. I don't think I need that. See what is on top of the deck. Okay, so I could adapt stuff. Trouble is we're very long cards, so adapt would just get us random things, probably not what we actually need. So let's discard you. And we draw. Okay, a fill is fine. We can work with a fill. Redraw hand. Okay. We can get the Verdant Labyrinth. We can. Reckon we are going to do so. Right, yeah, this is going to get much for muchness whether we fill the safety or the adventure, because they're both 5 off. You live there. You live there. You live there. You continue. Yeah, and the continue gets the cartwheel, which gets us a little bit off, so we're just losing 2 inspiration now. The entwined canopies of these ancient trees have turned this part of the forest into a maze of twisty little passages, all alike. Tsukinomoto, base of the Satyrs, after its forest. I don't think I particularly want any of these if I wanted to remove a glyph. It might just be the base spirit. I do kind of get some use out of that. We'll cut them moving. Okay, we're up to the convergence now. Still haven't gotten the Lake Island Shrine done. Okay, so we have quite a wide range of stuff available here. Knowledge would not be a bad capital type, though, I think. Yeah, because we're difficultly supplying knowledge, and that will... knowledge town, Miraworino, will get us security, then security gets us a couple of others. So let's make use of some of this shrubland back in the corner near the Torii Gate. Okay. No connection in our opening hand. Unfortunate. We could put... Yeah, are really, really hoping to connect this place. So I'm not going to put the radiance in there. Instead, I'm going to put morning on top of our deck. We can try to fill a bit of this. Or I could adapt some stuff. I think that'll be worth it. Let's just starve slightly. If we get... Okay, that's nice. Yeah, the connection is definitely worth it. Now we can do the 2 fire essences here. You want to spirit, you want to craft. I'll give you a craft. And these places just want... Yeah, stability. What do we have? Okay. Get you sorted. I think you are just drawing in the hope, like, we did not get our connection. Like, half of our remaining deck is connection cards. Yeah, I can't use either of these, so... Okay, there we go. Tragically, that was our continue one, which I was hoping to use there. There it is all. Quite a bummer. Quite a bummer. We're not quite dead, though. Not quite yet. Get you hooked up, at least. Figure that out. Another road. Road's linking down to that settlement rather than straight through the capital. If I had another connection, I could, like, get this place hooked up. That's not happening. And I don't think I have a use for any of these. Just gaining some supplies off them. Not dead yet. Not dead yet. Select a relic. I will take the extra inspiration. Just help keep me alive. Salvage a glyph. What do I want to consume here? Let's eat our basic spirit card. Sporty adventure. Now you can see, now we're past the convergence, we have some more options here. I think I am just going to try and get that lake shrine up before we die. The wasteland, yeah, should help me get a little bit of adventure, stop me dying immediately off this. Okay, island shrine. Life into stability, radiant spirit. Lotus pond. Stability. Watching these blossoms unfold is a fine excuse to delay starting work in the morning. Get you in. Okay, and over here. So yeah, my voice is going. I'm going to need to stop shortly after this, I reckon. Coming up on time though, so that's not too bad. Last dunes would be more if I can make it. I reckon there's a decent chance we can. So let's go salt flat. And fill random. Cool, that's good. I don't think we need you. No, we don't, so we just redraw hand. Okay, we don't have the radiance. We do have a continue. Yeah, so if you fill in glass dunes... No one knows what melted the sands to make these dunes. Perhaps it is knowledge best forgotten. And now that continue gets us the island shrine. The roof is raised, its roof tiles tied and its gate painted, but the monks murmur uneasily. Faith is not in the wooden beams, says one. Must be kept alive with action. The day is spent in meditation, attuning to the enlightened one's presence. A ritual is needed, a simple act that people should weave into their visits, a way for the shrine to bind the people together. So, burn essence to appease the spirits, bring fallen leaves and petals to the shrine, meditate where the water meets the gate, contribute to a communal rice pot. Meditate where the water meets the gate. Each visitor pauses at the shore, eyes resting where the waterline meets the gate. Some days the water is below the foundation stones, ground peeking through. In rainy months, the gate appears to float, the lake rising halfway up the pillars. Although no one keeps a record, everyone seems aware of where the line was even weeks ago. Good. And we can get a mulberry patch for a little bit more resources out of here. Bramble Hollow, mulberry patch. And we're not dead yet. Shiritsu, Salt Haven, after Salt Flats. Add a glyph to our deck. Reality. Okay, Reality blesses knowledge. Priestess, spread spirit and is a divine card. Accumulate is draw 2 but spare 5. Let's just grab Reality for the moment. A whole lot of manufacturing and some knowledge. But I think we'll probably call this expedition here. A bit more ahead, yeah. 27 bonus insights for returning before we're exhausted. Mizukagami no Hama, the Holy Lakes. New relic, bunch of new developments, some new events, some new encounters. The shrines rise like lanterns in the midst, oh, each one a beacon calling your name, O enlightened one. But we know that scattered sparks are not enough to mend the heavens. One flame must stand above all others. I shall entrust you with a great duty, explorer. More surveys. I'm always happy to visit new shards. Each one is like its own little world. They are but fragments of our past glory, but not for much longer. It is time for us to call upon the Enlightened One to reunite this shattered world. We shall erect a single monument, vast and unshakable, a conduit for the divine power. That shall be your mission. A great expedition, greater than any launched before. You shall prepare a shard to hold the great monastery, so the Enlightened One can walk among us again. That is a lot of responsibility. Okay, reach 150 total harmony and establish a monastery, forest, mountain, or canyon. Yep. New objective. More folks showing up. Refugees. People from some of our islands. Kid down by the lake. Visiting from Horatio, Kasagawa Iwa. Managed Estate has its third bit of history. To ensure civic harmony, the Culture Ministry enacted the Statute of Civic Etiquette. These laws standardize such things as the length of sleeves, the depth of polite bows, and the proper way to address His Excellency the Overseer. Those breaking the laws find the unmapped edges of the shard quite character-building, while those reporting such violations are invited to attend the cultural stewardship meetings at the capital. And the Holy Lakes. Mizukagami no Hama is known for its many beautiful lakes, one of which is a tiny island with a grand shrine to the Enlightened One. As one of the first shrines to be erected in the New World, it has become a popular pilgrimage destination. People come from all across the shard to meditate on its shores, finding wisdom in the reflection on its tranquil waters. Now then, the Enlightened One's abode. So the next story mission is always going to get us another shard culture. I need to have a look through these and kind of get my head wrapped around some of these. I can aim towards them as we progress. A couple of last little things just before I finish up, let's spend some of our inspiration. Okay, allows you to preview all site yields before starting rather than just the relevant ones. So grants insight for each discovery. That's going to be important. Spend insight to make insight. Yeah, allows you to use insights to try strokes. Allows you to salvage more glyphs at the end of convergence. Better deck refining. Increases the area revealed by forays and surveys by 20%. Redrawn glyphs. Yeah, that'll also be important. Have more glyphs, but that's expensive. And more max inspiration. Yeah, let's get insights from discovery. Get more insight more quickly. Replan might not be bad. There's been a few times where it would have been really useful to be able to redraw our starting hand. Or redo our starting hand, I suppose. Redraw being a game term mechanic for something different in this game. Survey preparation. Surveys are still very short, but I don't really need those to be longer. Craft connection might be nice. Yeah, this lets me combine one of each of the 3 basic glyphs during a convergence to create a temporary connection card. Sure, we'll unlock you. And other things, reroll glyph reward choices 1 time. Sure, there's been a few times when disappointed, so we'll grab that as well. And we're at an event preview. That accomplishes almost nothing. I rarely plan around events, but we had the spare. But for now, I do think good people, looking at the time, listen to my voice, that's probably going to be about it. So I've been very much enjoying getting the chance to play this game. No, Worlds Upon the Wind was something like when I encountered the demo, I was quite, I don't know, I played a decent chunk of the demo and then like stopped and went, now I'm sitting on this until it actually fully comes out, and then it finally has done so. And I'm really enjoying to get the chance to play it all. And I hope if you've made it through to the end of this little part that you've been enjoying it too. Now, I should be back next Thursday, same time, same place, continuing on with some more Worlds Against the Wind. And I hope I shall see you all then. But until that next time, goodbye, 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 goodbye.